Nothing like Little Glow. Better song, Yeah Glow or Get It or Get It Sexy.
I like Yeah Glow more personally.
I think I like Yeah Glow more too.
I just get more. It's way more hype. Like Get It Sexy in a weird way. And excuse, I guess, the way that this is about to come out of my mouth. Get It Sexy is really for the bitches, bro. Like that song is kind of for the bitches. Like, but Yeah Glow, I feel like niggas can kind of. Yeah, she said Yeah Glow like herself, but like, I don't know. It's more. It has more.
You can't turn up to get them sexy
and be a nigga. No, you can't.
I mean, unless you throw money.
I mean, yeah, there's a big, yeah, of course, but
like me and you, we can't
go crazy to it.
We can't sit in your house and even listen to Get Them Sexy.
No,
because then we might be. I couldn't land that one. I was gonna make a Kendrick joke.
Oh man,
that was I'm sorry, that was the funniest line in the whole beef.
Which line?
When he said, "When you stand next to Sexy Red, I think you see two bad bitches."
Oh. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know.
Oh yeah, we definitely got to talk some women's hoops. We didn't talk about that in pre-production, but LeBron pretty much told them women to shut up and be grateful for Caitlyn.
Well, is he wrong?
No. That's what I've said the entire time.
When on Twitter, I saw when they were on the charter flight for the first time, somebody had put up the Drewski thing. He's like change these broke bitches' lives, like because she did, bro, and not just them, like the whole league. Like she changed everybody in the league's life. Like I'm not trying to be funny. All this stuff would have happened if she was able to have came out last year and did it. Like obviously she didn't, and she became bigger by staying in college because she did break the records. But like the intrigue was still already there. She could have came out last year, and this would have started. They would have done this last year with her coming into the league. If her and Angel Reese, I'll give Angel Reese her props too. Like because she needed that rival.
Yeah,
in it. Like, and the fact that they got to play each other that second year in a row, it was a different result. Like it helped. Like it builds more for women's basketball, man.
And they can eat off of that rivalry for the next 10 years.
Put it this way.
And they got paid, and they're gonna have Paige Juju, even though Juju's gonna be 2 years behind Paige. They got the home and home next year.
But see, they're already saying that that's Michael Jordan.
Who, Paige?
Yeah, what's her face? Juju. I mean,
I think
Michael Jordan, that because you've got Larry and Magic are in the WNBA right now, right? From that.
So who was Paige? Clyde Drexler?
Let's give her Akeem Olajuwon.
I'm okay with that.
That's the same year as Jordan, technically, if we're talking draft wise. But
yeah,
I don't know. Big game James Worthy, nigga. I don't know. Like, especially if she ends up getting drafted by the Fever next year, like, and that's the team. Like, nigga.
I mean, the Fever aren't a good basketball team, and I also think people don't look at that. They've had the number one pick the last 2 years. They're supposed to get beat by the Connecticut Sun, and
basically.
Everybody
outside of the Vegas Aces, the next two best teams in the WNBA,
right?
Like, but
they
get Seattle tonight. They're playing Jewel Lloyd, so she's gonna have a matchup like there. But Seattle's a garbage ass team too. Oh, they got Skylar Diggins too. Now I think about it, but
Skylar Diggins Smith,
yeah, but she just signed there. She wasn't there last year, so
she was in Phoenix last year, but they were having problems down there.
Yeah, well, and then Britt. BG
basketball is back.
BG's not even playing right now. She's been out, but they beat the Aces last night.
Oh man,
they beat the Aces.
You know how I like the Aces.
They're a good team. They've got a lot of talent.
They do.
They're the equivalent of who would I compare? They're like the Golden State Warriors of with KD. Yeah. That's like basically what that team is. Hold on 1 second.
I just hate that, people put us in this unfortunate situation when we talk women's basketball, which we shouldn't be leading our show with, by the way, of appearing to be anti-Asia. Like, I hate that y'all do that to us because we're not talking about skill and talent. We're talking about marketability. But we're going to table this conversation for now because we're 5 minutes in. And nobody comes here to hear the WNBA takes open the show. So we're going to get to the hoops. Excuse me, the NBA. I forgot we were just talking hoops. Forgive me. But we got NBA. We were off last week. We're down to the final 4 teams. I think it's the kind of the best of the litter given what we had.
You know what's crazy? This really is probably the 4 best teams in the NBA this year. Like, oddly enough. Like, and I say that because what people forget about Indiana, they got Pascal at the deadline. So they didn't have him. But prior to that, and I know that nobody cares about the in-season tournament, but Indiana was like ranked in the top 3 in the East at the time. Like, when that was going on, Indiana had a very good record. They weren't a 500 team. Like, they were a good team pretty much. They fell off because Halliburton got hurt.
Yeah.
He started missing games. Because think about it, Halliburton at one point, probably by the end of the play-in, people penciled him in first team All-NBA.
First team All-NBA. He's going to be a top 5 MVP guy.
He led the league in assists, 20-point-a-night guy. Like they were good all year. They had the number 1 offense. Like, and they added Pascal Siakam. So, like, you want to know what sucks about this? This is the type of thing that the Hawks, if the Hawks had gotten a guy like Pascal Siakam, I'm not saying that we would have been here, but the Hawks could have taken advantage of a year like this to be in the East Finals by making a move like that.
Well, apparently Pascal wanted to go to Indiana. Said no nigga ever.
Well, you want to know what it is? He knows that no matter what, they're going to offer him the $300+ million contract. Or he didn't make an All-NBA team, so he wouldn't get that. But he's going to get like the 250, whatever that number is.
Yeah.
And it'll be up to him if he wants to decline it or not. So
let's keep it in the East. Knicks lose a terrible Game 7. I mean, Indiana shot the fucking lights out. Game 7 record. But at the end of the day, New York was hurt. I mean, Jalen Brunson broke his hand. He wasn't coming back from that. Josh Hart had the abdominal injury, which, I mean, he would have, even if he played in this round, he wasn't going to be himself. OG had the hamstring. He wasn't going to be himself. Julius Randle hasn't played since Christmas. I don't know.
Yeah.
So he's not even really a factor in this conversation. And then Mitchell Robinson and Bogdanovich, they both got hurt in the playoffs as well. So even though ESPN still wanted the Knicks to be there, I mean, if you saw Stephen A. and just harassing Spike Lee before the game, Indiana's just a better matchup for Boston given the Knicks' lack of health.
Yeah. And
I don't know about you, but I'm not going to beat up on Tibbs for this at all.
I will a little. And the reason why is because he wasn't just doing it in the playoffs. They have been doing it in the regular season too. And that's kind of like if you looked up, there would be nights, man, Jalen Brunson was playing 40 fucking minutes. Like, they were playing against the Portland Trail Blazers and Brunson had 40 minutes. Why?
Well, who else is going to play?
This was before. I'm talking about before April, man. He was doing this all year. And that's why he has this reputation. It's not just a playoff thing. He does it in the regular season. He runs a rotation of 7 guys. Everybody that's a bettor loves it because you know that most of the time those guys are going to hit their player props. So you love it. You love to see that. But it wears. Everybody knows that the NBA season's a grind. Like, it's a grind. And, look, Knicks overachieved anyways, as far as I'm concerned. They got the 2 seed. Nobody coming into this season thought that they would be the number 2 seed. They accomplished that, even though Cleveland gave it to Cleveland. That is why J.B. Bickerstaff might be getting fired because of shit like that. But more on him later. They overachieved. They got the 2 seed. They got Knicks basketball back being relevant again. They thought that they were relevant when they played the Hawks that one year in the first round. This is them actually becoming relevant because now people do see New York as shit. You know,
they're a piece of weight.
Well, right. Kevin Durant could say, hey, I will come. I will be the savior. I will play with Brunson. You guys give Randall to Phoenix. The unfortunate part is you're going to have to probably part with DiVincenzo or Hart. You're probably going to get rid of one of them because you're going to keep OG Anunoby. Like, I would keep OG Anunoby.
Hell yeah.
Josh Hart's probably the one that would have to go.
What about Mitch?
I want DiVincenzo. You need to spot up 3 shooter.
What about Mitch? They need a big.
His values only went down. The nigga, he was hurt all year. He was truly hurt all year. He probably played like 10 regular season games, and then he came back for the playoffs. So, like, McBride, maybe you could – McBride showed promise in terms of, like, God, what a role player kind of coming off. But that might have been that New York thing. And so New York media is going to hype up every player on the Knicks, and they were way – oh, but I'm just saying, you keep OG Anunoby. You do not let him walk. Obviously, Jalen Brunson's there. You got to probably keeping DiVincenzo. You have to value the shooting, bro. Like, but if you have to part with one of those guys that was a part of this run, you probably have to give up Josh Hart because his value is at its peak. It's never been higher. Like, DiVincenzo has been a starter on a championship team. He was a starting shooting guard for the Bucks when they won. So he's kind of always had value.
I liked him in college.
He's a shooter. Golden State. He was on Golden State. That's why they brought him in. Like, he's a shooter. Maybe he just found his way in New York. But if you have to get rid of Josh Hart and Julius Randle to bring in KD, I'm doing it. Because the idea of KD there with Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, you're going to be able to get guys to sign for less to want to come. Get that mid-level exception player.
And Brunson doesn't have to change his game for KD.
Exactly.
And you can get Brunson off the court a little bit more and let KD cook because –
well, you got McBride now. I guess he's more of a 2 maybe. You know – and I know that all signs are pointing. Chris Paul was on ESPN's yesterday. I'm not sure if you saw that, but
I saw him on there.
Yeah, so you got a guy like Chris Paul. Speculation is he goes to the Lakers if LeBron returns, right? Makes a ton of sense. It does. Even if he comes off the bench, I hate to say. And then LeBron can complete his banana boat crew. He can say that he's played with all of his friends. He played with Melo. He played with Wade, obviously. Like, he can say that he's played with everybody. He's got to play with all of his friends. And so
I'd say a healthy Chris Paul would have been better than D'Lo.
But this is what I'm saying. D'Lo's going to be gone. You can bring in Chris Paul. You probably still get another guard. Who knows? Maybe you draft Bronny, and he's the other guard. What? I'm sure that if LeBron and Bronny showed up to a park together to take 2-on-2 against anyone, whose side are you taking?
Bruh.
I'm just saying, I'm sure that I don't know if they've ever played together in an open gym. Probably not, low key.
Nah, they did. I think they have.
But against who? Like when? Who's he running with? Against who?
Probably NBA players.
So then they would know then. But at that point, then front offices should know how it is.
I think that Bronny. And maybe this is my LeBron fandom, but I think Bronny has shown some people more than what the public has seen. I just think because he's not a flashy scorer, that it just doesn't look as good. You know, Pat Bev was a guy who went overseas after killing it in Arkansas, by the way. And, he's played for 13 years in the NBA, and he signs 1- and 2-year deals. But when's the last time Patrick Beverley has like started and ended the season on a bad team? He may start on a bad team, but doesn't end on a bad team.
Yeah, you could get Pat. I mean, that's subjective. You could say.
I'm just saying, like a guy who can play hard and knock down an open 3
and plays defense, which is really what's important. He can play defense.
Play defense. You will play in the NBA a very long time.
Isn't it crazy that a guy like him didn't just stay with Minnesota? He would fit so well.
Minnesota.
Backing up Mike Conley right now.
Well, man,
that shit would be perfect. He would be perfect for that team right now.
Maybe his leadership was something that they were kind of over, and they just wanted to get him up out of there.
Probably because Ant's taking on 100% the leadership role because Rudy doesn't talk and Cat's so.
But Rudy barely knows the language.
Cat's too zesty, right? To really for anyone to take him serious if he was. he's like, yeah, for sure. He's like. Somebody put up a fucking clip of this nigga playing the Flo Millie Never Lose Me, like his highlight tape, but it was started off with him changing up his voice, and then it went into him balling. And that is why too, because we kind of got off the topic a little.
Yeah, we got to go back east. We're not gonna stay here. We got to go back east.
Okay.
The Celtics
dispatched a Cleveland team that we all knew that they should have dispatched. No Donovan Mitchell there, which JB Bickerstaff. Some people don't think he should be on the chopping block. I believe that he actually should. But that's just me because they didn't have to be in that position. At the end of the season, he was playing his third stringers against the Magic after the guy started and played the whole first half. And it dropped them all the way down to the 4 when they could have been the 2. And they could have been in the position where they were playing Indiana instead of the Knicks. And something like that, it shows up today more than anything. And I get it. You were going to have to play the Celtics anyways eventually. Yeah, but you could have went further than what you did. And so – but Celtics, good looks, obviously, started yesterday against the Pacers, come back and win a game that they had no business coming back and winning.
Chuck is not going to wear these shoes that they just gave him. But yeah.
Are they Chucks? Yeah, they are Chucks.
Yeah, the Pacers, they looked like they were happy to be there.
Because they were.
Tyrese Halliburton box score looked great. So if you ask Josh Holsey how was his game, he say, "Oh, Halliburton was good." I watched the fourth quarter and overtime. Bad turnovers. The 3 free throws he got on the Derek White foul, that was a stupid shot.
He look, I watched the game too. He played well enough for them to win.
Sure.
He played well enough for them to win. He just, when it came to the time in the game, when they needed him most, he wasn't there. No,
But
Miles Turner, they overall played.
They played well.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't play bad. And neither did Boston. Like, Boston did not play bad. And we kind of talked about this yesterday on the phone. Boston did not play bad. So that is why this one stings, because you could have stolen a game without a bad Boston game. Like, when Boston lost to Miami and Cleveland, they played bad games. Like, they just didn't look good. Joe Maz was out there smoking it up. And I know you got a lot of ammo for him. So if you can just hold the mayo a little bit longer. But
not gonna explode yet.
But yeah, it was one of those games that Indiana's gonna regret, depending on how Boston comes out in game 2. Like, let's say that Boston comes out and does play well. Again, the expectation is that they'll win the game. And so if you don't catch them slipping like everybody else has in game 2, you probably lose the series. You have a chance to win the series if you win game 2. If you don't win game 2, Boston's not going to lose 4 out of the next 5.
No.
But if you can steal game 2, you actually have a chance to win. I like Boston in 6. I think it goes 6. I think even if they go down 0-2, that Indiana will win their 2 home games. And then, they won't win a game 5. And then Boston's going to close out because they don't want to go to a game 7.
I got Boston in 5, but that was before the series started. Seeing what I saw yesterday, still won't be shocked if it goes 5, but the talent disparity looks more like a 6-game series. And this isn't even in my Joe Maz piece. I just think Boston is so overrated because they beat the dog piss out of so many bad teams this year. That they have like this.
They're in the Eastern Conference, so they played more East teams than West.
They have this historical like point differential and all these other nerd stats, but I watched them play, and what is their offense?
It is Jason Tatum, ISO ball, Jaylen Brown, ISO ball, Drew, get some people involved here and there. Porzingis, kind of just do your thing. Al, if you got an open three, we're okay with you taking it. Just you be the glue in between all of this.
You took 12 yesterday.
And then Sam Hauser and Pritchard, when you guys come in, man, let it rip. That is their offense. Like, that is what they do on offense.
You know the matchup that nobody thought we needed to see, but we definitely need to see?
In that series?
Yeah.
I want to make a guess, but I mean, Porzingis versus Miles Turner. What is it?
Peyton Pritchard versus TJ McConnell.
Oh man. Well, we know who wins that. I told you already. TJ McConnell's the guy that if he were a free agent this off season, he's getting a contract, 15 plus every year. Maybe plays 17 and a half, 18.
He plays good ball.
I like him. He'd be a really nice. He's actually really a perfect backup point guard.
Yeah,
that gets enough minutes. Like the Lakers could really use it. If let's say the Lakers, D'Lo's gone, and you had Chris Paul on a vet man or the veteran, the mid-level vet. Let's say that he signs because he's not getting he's not getting that type of money anymore.
No,
Chris Paul. Let's say you had Chris Paul and TJ McConnell as your point guards. I'd like it. It'd be good for Bron. But the thing is, TJ McConnell, he's so crafty. He's like a way better JJ. He's a plucky white guy, man.
He's scrappy.
Yeah.
But a few takeaways from that game. Obviously, Rick Carlisle called a timeout in advance to ball, so you can actually call a set.
He knew he fucked up, though. He said that.
He did. Can we call Tatum grabbing Pascal's jersey or Brown, whichever one it was? It was blatantly obvious he got grabbed. But I get it. It's the playoffs. Halliburton, don't turn over the ball. And
we get Aces Fever on Saturday, by the way.
Ooh.
I'm pumped about it.
Me too.
Yeah, continue. I'm sorry. It just popped up.
And I don't know, man. I'm not even mad at them for not fouling Jaylen Brown like in the corner because it wasn't a good spot for a foul because he made
a 4-point play unless he hacked him.
Right, and they almost could have called a foul right there, and he made a double. Like, dog, if you beat me with a double pump three.
Well, remember, all a three was gonna do was tie it, anyways. Yeah, so you still would have got to determine the game. It was just a wasted possession there at the end of it. Like, it was just a waste of a last shot. They could have got a much better look. More importantly, they didn't run a play. Like, if I'm Halliburton, I mean, I don't give a fuck. At that point, I'm almost gonna have to get called for a charge or something. Like, I'm going to the hole. You know what I mean? Or I'm giving it to Pascal. That's who I'm giving it to because I'm like, all right, let's throw it into him.
He'll go to the lane, spin.
Tatum already, we just saw, or maybe that was in overtime when he did the hug.
Oh, yeah, that was in overtime.
Tatum isn't necessarily this elite defender. With Halliburton, you got Holiday on you. You got their best defender guarding you. Like, their best defender's on you. Or what's Jaylen Brown on?
I don't remember.
Regardless, he did it. He kind of, when he was on him, he locked him up. They showed the stats. It was like 2 turnovers, 0 for 5 field goal range. So, like, I don't know. I look at it this way. Boston, did they steal a game? Yeah, to a degree, they really did. Even though they led by 12 like twice in that game, they stole that game still because that game should have been a loss. Indiana should have won.
Well, Boston has a problem.
Okay, we're listening. Talk about this problem in depth.
And it's the neck beard.
Mm-hmm.
It's Joe Mazzulla. So, for starters, he wasn't ready to be the head coach, but the Ime situation happened, so he has to step.
They thrust him in, and Brad's ass didn't want to get up off the porch.
But no, because Brad is like, he just got executive of the year.
Well, he just extended his career in Boston another 5+ years.
Yeah.
No matter what happens.
Well, because Boston is not a rings culture team.
Well, and the thing with Brad is Brad wants to be able to do whatever he wants whenever he wants. And he's in a position to where once his time has passed there, somebody might want him to be an executive elsewhere. Somebody might want him to coach elsewhere. He could go to college. He's got a lot of different options on his end because he's like somebody that has accomplished so much without winning anything.
But that is the Boston way. The Boston of our lifetime. Oh, man, back in the day. We've seen one Boston championship since we've been alive. Or as Nick Wright says.
Well, you're talking about the Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics. Yeah.
I thought you were saying Boston. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No. That's still Titletown. But the Celtics. One championship since the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Well, think about it. Since 85, we're talking almost 40+ years. One championship total.
No, they won it in 86.
Okay. Well, 86 on.
Yeah.
You've got one championship in 38 years.
Yeah. You're
one of the 3 biggest brands in basketball.
Yeah. And so getting back to the problem that they have is Joe Mazzulla is not a good basketball coach. He's just not a good basketball coach. He loves the 3-point shot. That's great. I like it too. Tell Jason Tatum to take his big 6'8" ass and get downhill. He's super skilled. He may be my least favorite, worst. Jason Tatum might be the worst elite player in the league. Just no confidence. I mean, I just don't have confidence in him. He may have confidence in himself. He may have a lot of confidence in himself, but I know who we don't have confidence in, and that's Joe Mazzulla. The Celtics deserve to lose last night because Joe Mazzulla is their coach. And the last thing we need to see is the Celtics win a championship, because then Joe Mazzulla gets to become Doc Rivers. The guy who was just there, the infrastructure was put in for him. He just stood on the sideline and said some cool stuff. I bet Joe Mazzulla's whiteboard is worse than Darvin Ham's. Play hard, don't foul. I just watched Boston, and they don't have an identity. Joe Mazzulla leaves you desiring so much more. Like Joe Mazzulla's blue balls. Joe Mazzulla is that really nice looking chick who you had a great surface level conversation with. And then when you get her over to your house and y'all start just talking about some stuff, or you're watching a movie or watching TV, and it puts you all in a real conversation that requires some thought and brain power, you go, oh, this motherfucker ain't it. She's stupid. Joe Mazzulla's the baddie who rocks a girdle and she takes it off and it's like, oh, you're fat. I wear a lot of makeup and I have great filters, but then after I take a shower, I'm terrible. You know what I mean? It looks good. You look at his record, amazing. You look at in 2 years as the head coach, back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals trips, yeah. But when you watch the team just does not have substance. There's so many things that Boston could be doing that would actually make them a great team. They play like shit in tight games. They pulled They pulled Jason Tatum yesterday, and the 12-point lead evaporated. He's cooking right now. Let him change your rotation. Hey, Al Horford took 12 fucking threes last night and played 37 minutes, 40 minutes. The fuck out of here. Why does Al Horford have a green light to take 12 fucking threes?
Because that's really all Al brings to the table from an offensive perspective these days. He doesn't really offer much else. He'll set a pick, but he's not picking and rolling to the basket for an alley-oop. This is his lot in life in year 16, probably 17, maybe.
Yeah, hold on. I got
this is his lot in life. He's supposed to be a stretch 4 or 5. Like that's his lot in life. And he doesn't offer much else offensively for that team. But that's why Porzingis is the person that's missing. Of course, like he's missing, right? Like, because that's really Porzingis' job. Porzingis should be. I feel comfortable with Porzingis taking 12 threes because I know he's going to make 4 of them.
Al Horford, 3 for 12 from 3, 5 for 15 from the field. Yeah, he had 15 points.
Because he made 3 threes. He maybe got a putback or 2, maybe went to the line. I mean,
can you shoot a midi? Like a pick and pop midi? Jason Tatum. Can somebody tell Jason Tatum not to take hard shots? Like that fadeaway that he missed in regulation? Why did you take a fadeaway? Why not go into the contact or just shoot straight up? Is your coach not coaching that? Hey, Jason, you take very difficult shots very often. And, I mean, shit, yesterday he was 2 for 8 from 3. That's kind of who Jason Tatum is.
What do you think of Gafford, by the way?
Oh, great.
I know we're getting ready to transfer over to the West.
I mean, we can transfer over because, I mean, I just think it would be the biggest travesty in the world if Joe Mazzulla wins the NBA championship because now we'll have 2 Doc Rivers in the league. And sorry to shit on the black man. Sorry to pull a Malika Andrews. But I'm just evaluating what I see on the court.
Yeah, like I said, Malika might be the only person that wants him out more than we do. But
I think smart Boston
maybe Boston people too. But like at the end of the day, they're going to be okay with it as long as they win.
Yeah, Eastern Conference Finals. You know that's the new finals for them.
Yeah, I was about to say let's stop talking about the JV.
Yeah, let's get to the West. You know,
get to the varsity.
We got Rudy Gobert trying to drive to the basket. Rudy Gobert
getting his shit packed by Gafford.
At least it's by a big man and not by a guard.
You know, Daniel Gafford might be the happiest man on earth. This nigga was playing for the Wizards, wasn't going anywhere in life, and now he's starting in the Western Conference Finals blocking Rudy Gobert's shot. He's a winner in my book.
Yeah, I think you could block Rudolph's shot, though.
Yeah, Cat is the key to this series, in my opinion. If he plays well, they'll win. But if he doesn't, give me Dallas. I think Dallas is just – they play such an unconventional style on offense. I'm trying to tell you, I haven't really seen a team play offense the way they do. It's a different – because Luka has the ball in his hands all the time. But then you've got Kyrie who can also do just about everything that Luka can do offensively, at least.
Does Kyrie want
everything?
Does Kyrie want to?
Cat's going to be the key for these niggas. I'm trying to tell you, if Cat don't have the game, if Cat don't play well, they're not going to win.
Well, you remember Ant said it in round 1. Cat, stop goddamn fouling. Like we can't win when you fouling like that.
And he's gotten better defensively, but he's got to be. And so here's the thing: he's not going to have to do too much defensively in this series because I guess who's he guarding right now? He's got PJ. PJ had big series against OKC. He had a few big games.
Yeah.
But I think Jaden McDaniels is going to have a hard time on Luka.
That's fine.
And I guess if Mike Conley's guarding, I don't know what the fuck they doing now. But
Mike Conley's guarding PJ right now. Ant's guarding Kyrie.
Okay, because Ant almost to me has to guard Kyrie, and then you got to have Conley. Conley's got to be on Derek Jones.
Yeah,
Kyrie gonna be Kyrie can eat in this series. I mean, if Ant's guarding him, I guess Ant's a pretty good defender. But
he sent that one boy to jail last week.
Yeah, he had 35.
He didn't guard him in the first half.
Well, in a game 7, then what is that? Is that a coaching issue?
In a game 7,
then why wouldn't he guard him the whole game?
Well, in a game 7 that you won, what does it fucking matter? It worked.
It did work, but I'm just saying, don't you think he should have been guarding him the whole fucking game? Like,
no.
And look, I'm not being one of these Twitter basketball people. I'm just saying, yeah, he held him down when it mattered.
They made that
game, but the nigga still had 30. Like, for everybody to act like he still had 35. Like,
yeah, he had 35, but you know how LeBron can have 35 now. That's not the same 35 he had in Miami.
Yeah, it isn't.
Let's go, Jaden. They got Luka Doncic. We got Jaden McDaniels. You know, your boy Jokic, he got the ultimate pass this week. The media been so nice to him. They're about to get me back on the Jokic hate train.
Yeah, we know how you are with him, man. You're Jokic.
I just think if anybody else gave up a 20-point lead in a game 7 as a defending champion, we would slaughter them. You know, this is where we need the old Skip Bayless back, not the host. I need the pundit Skip Bayless back. Because Skip ain't having it.
Skip's got to deal with fucking Keyshawn Johnson and Paul Pierce. Like, these are his. Is Dick even on the show like that anymore? Like, him and Michael Irvin, it seems like a kind of.
Yeah, you know.
The playmaker, I know he got fired by NFL Network, but like.
NFL Network's firing everybody, though.
They're not going to get rid of rap.
No, but I think they're about to turn that into pretty much 24 hours of football games.
Oh, so the opposite of MTV. MTV doesn't do music videos anymore, and it's just nothing but movies and TV shows all day.
Yeah, I think NFL Network's going to be like Good Morning Football. They have a couple of their shows, but then it's going to be just football all day.
Do you think MTV should bring back like a show like TRL? TRL.
I don't care what MTV does. I haven't watched that network in years.
Culture Hour will get to the music in that Apple Top 100 and Spotify's 100 best songs of the streaming era. Let me tell you, and just a preview for it, the Kendrick Lamar dick sucking has got to stop. And I like Kendrick. Like, I do like Kendrick. This nigga is getting blown on epic purport. Like, it's crazy how much glazing is going on.
I am not mad at that because of – hold on.
You're not mad at what I'm saying, or you're not mad at what has transpired on both lists?
Oh, no, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Kendrick Lamar's placing on both lists. You
think Good Kid, Mad City is the 7th best album ever? And basically the best hip hop album ever? I guess some people might say Miseducation is a hip hop album, but like, I think it's in its own lane. I didn't think it should have been number one. Thriller should have been number one. I think we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that. But no, I think that Good Kid, Mad City is one of the best albums of. It's his best project. Well, but I think it's one of the best albums of our generation. I do believe that. I'm with you. It's not a better album than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Like, well, no, but we'll get to that later. So that's what I'm talking about. It's just like, I mean, they are stroking this man right now. And all right, the best song of the streaming era. Okay. I'll tell you why, but later. The Timberwolves came back from the biggest halftime deficit in the NBA playoff game 7 of 15 points. It got up to 20 points. Anthony Edwards wasn't great offensively. He was 6 for 24, but he stayed active. He stayed involved. And, you know, he took a page out of LeBron James' book, man. Make the right play. Don't force it. You know, if more people in life, Diddy, would just make the right play and not force it, you'd be in a much better situation. Actually, somebody made a great comparison. I think it was Bill Simmons. He said that the game was reminding him of Kobe in Game 7 against Boston. Yeah. And because Kobe did struggle in that game shooting. Kobe also had like 15 or 16 rebounds. Like, he did a lot of other things in that game. He was a great defender. The game was in the 70s. That game was in the 70s. I think the final score was 81-77 or something. Like, that game was a low-scoring game to begin with. And he still had like 24. Either way. Or maybe it was like 21-22. Either way. That to me was a great comparison because that is kind of what it looked like. Jump shots not falling. You got to do something else in order to help this team win because it's on you to win the game. Like this is on you. this game is on you. Like, this is on you to win. Like, if you don't show up, that's the only thing anyone's going to talk about. Lights are too bright for him. He's not on that level yet. Maybe next year.
But Jokic can fill up the points and rebounds, but it didn't look the same. It didn't look the same.
He struggled too shooting.
Yeah, he couldn't make a three, but he still had his 34 and his like 15 boards. So he gets a fucking free pass.
Well, no, he has to do everything, man. I mean, like, think about it. Who is his backup? He doesn't really have a backup. So
I don't care.
Like, there aren't really very many lineups that you're running. This guy, Jay McDaniels, is having a fucking day, huh? So they're going to win this game because when he plays well, they always win. He's got three. He's 3 for 3 from 3 in the first fucking quarter. Okay.
And then you have Rudy making fadeaway jumpers, but
that to me was the icing on the cake.
That was over. Yeah, when I thought, I'm like, Vince called, it's over.
Okay, they're not getting any calls.
But I do want to say that Rudolph Gobert is soft. He does not work on his offensive game. And I'm convinced
he got bailed out on a call here too.
I'm convinced Rudolph does nothing in the summer to become a better basketball player. Like, I don't think there's one thing that Rudolph does to become.
What do you mean? They showed him like last offseason working out with Wemby. Wemby was piecing him up.
Bingo.
Oh, and then I guess after we're done with this, we can get to that.
Yeah, so
top 10 under 25 and under.
Like I said, Ant-Man is on his D-Wade too early tour. Karl Anthony Towns, man, he showed why about 5 years ago the GM said he's the number one player to build your team around. Because when he's on, he can be as good as anybody. I mean, he can score from anywhere on the court. He can play defense when he wants to. He just has stupid fouls and brain farts.
Cat?
Yeah.
Cat. So here's the thing. A lot of talent.
Yeah.
For sure. Like the talent's there. I think what makes the Cat thing crazy is that where has this been? He's been on multiple Timberwolves teams. And maybe what it was that he needed to be the second option always. He never should have been the first option.
Yeah.
Even as a number one pick, he always should have been the second option. He never should have been the first option. And I think that maybe that's what it is. And, of course, health has been a concern for him. And naturally putting Gobert next to him helps anchor the defense to where he doesn't have to be down low, which is why everybody kind of questioned that trade when they made it. Because you're like, man, even with Cat shooting threes, it's like the spacing is going to be horrible with the 6'11" nigga and a 7'1" nigga down low. Like, it's going to be horrible.
But it's not.
Kyrie's locked in. He's ready to fucking play. This is what I like to see. All right.
Rudy can't catch a oop. He can't dunk on anybody. Dog, what do you do all summer?
But he keeps getting bailed out by the calls. Like maybe he did foul him. Maybe he did foul him. But
Derek Lively would have caught that thing and yammed it.
Nigga, Daniel Gafford would have yammed it. Like, I mean, there's a lot of guys that would have dunked. Clint Capella. I mean, there's plenty of niggas that would have dunked that ball.
Ant-Man probably would have caught that bitch and dunked it.
Hell, Luka Garza might have caught that bitch, man. If you gave him some tick, he might have been able to do it too. He lost quite a bit of weight, by the way. But
yeah, he wants to play in the NBA.
Rudy's making his free throws though, so
yeah,
no more for Rudy, huh?
You know, bro, you know how I feel about Rudy.
Luka needs to lock in. That's what's about to make the difference in this game. For them.
It's hard to lock in when you're looking at Jay McDaniels.
Yeah, it's hard to lock in when you're locked up, huh?
So, do you want to get to All NBA first, or do you want to get to that bad ringer list?
Oh, did they drop the All NBA team today?
Yeah, it's in your inbox.
Hold on, I have not seen it. I feel like I know where it should be, but
hey, I'm gonna read it to you since you haven't seen it.
Go ahead. All right, I'm looking at it now.
Well, damn. So All NBA first team: Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous, Jason Tatum, Giannis, Nikola Jokic. No complaints here.
The reality is Tatum probably shouldn't be there, and it should be Bronson, but whatever.
But Tatum played it, number 1 seed.
I'm curious to see the voting. I want to see the voting in terms of who was last on the first team and then who was first on the second team.
Second team, we got Brunson, we got Ant-Man, we got KD, AD, Kawhi Leonard.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I think it's because AD was super healthy this year. He had a good year, no doubt, but because he made first team all defense too.
Yeah, I mean he was back to himself.
I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. I think that when we were doing our list, I didn't have AD on my second team, and I had him third. But
third team,
I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. Yeah.
Third team, we got Steph, Book, Halliburton, LeBron, and Sabonis.
I think I'm cool with this too. For the most part, they got it right.
It's splitting hairs. If you want to,
I think Brunson should have been on the first team. That might have been the only thing I can think of.
But it's hard not to have somebody from the number 1 overall seed on the first team.
If they had Brown on the third, it probably wouldn't have mattered as much though, because they had 2 All-NBA players.
True. I don't know if Halliburton should have made All-NBA this year.
I'm okay with him making it. He led the league in assists. We know that they do this voting before the playoff starts, but I'm okay with this. I'm okay with Halliburton being there. I'm gonna be honest with you. Book the one maybe on this third team, because Sabonis to me was always, he didn't get his respect this year. He was on my fantasy basketball team, so I got to see it kind of night in and night out. He put in work every night for the Kings. Every night that nigga played. So
Book was 27, 7, and 4.5.
And it's nitpicky. It's nitpicky on my end. I guess the numbers are there, but I guess you'd ask yourself, well, who do you replace him with, right? And like I said, maybe you would put Brown potentially there. Kyrie, if he had played in more games,
he
would have an argument too for the third.
He's not making All-NBA. He didn't make it last year. He was an all-star starter.
You could have, but that's voting too.
Yeah, but he was also 50, 40, 90 last year. Kyrie's just not making All-NBA.
Yeah, Kyle Korver had a 50, 40, 90 year. And I get it.
That's different.
I'm just saying he's a part of that club too.
But it's different when Kyrie does it than when Kyle Korver does it. Stop it.
Yeah, sure. But all in all, I don't have any quarrels with the list except maybe that Brunson over Tatum.
Yeah, I can't really argue with it.
I'm going to pull up the voting because I know it's on Twitter. Let me just type in all NBA voting.
I think that Halliburton had a all NBA beginning of the year, but the fall off was really a fall off.
Okay, so Tatum was last on the list, and Brunson was first on the second team. And the difference was in total points, because that's how they determine it. Tatum had 427 total. Brunson had 368. First team votes for Tatum was 65-34 on second place. And then for Brunson, it was 37 first team, 61 second. So
give me LeBron's numbers.
He had 1 first team vote. Crazy enough. Him and Sabonis both had 1 first team vote. I don't know who voted Sabonis to be first team. There's no way. But LeBron had 1 first, 32 second, 63 third. Okay. He was at the top of the second team list. I'll tell you the most razor thin of it all was Jalen Brunson was a runaway to be guaranteed second. Anthony Edwards was almost 100 points behind him in total votes. Ant had 3 first team votes, 87 second, 9 third. KD had 2 first team, 85 second, 9 third. Kawhi had 1 first, 72 second, 21 third. AD had 1 first, 65 second, and 30 third. So
who's first man out?
So it doesn't tell first man out of if there was a 4th team theoretically.
Yeah.
They don't have it. They don't have it on here. They don't have who would have been the next man out. But Book Halliburton got the least amount of second team votes. Like Devin Booker got more second team votes than him, but Devin Booker was last on the third team. And that's why I kind of had said what I just said in a sense of I get what you just gave out his numbers 27, 7, and 4, but like, I don't know. It feels like I tell you what, shame on the Suns, even more so. You had 2 All-NBA players this season, and same with the Lakers, but the Lakers drew a tougher match. I mean, well, let's not say that they drew a tougher matchup because clearly the Timberwolves are who we think they are. But Denver being the defending champs, it was going to be hard to knock them off in that first round for the Lakers. And Darvin Ham on the sidelines with his hand in his pocket like he's fucking Arthur. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that went into this stuff. Giannis, I tell you what, because Giannis is an interesting case too. Giannis was great during the regular season. Like at one point, realistically, people were saying, man, he might need to win it again. Like, but Giannis had 88 first, 11 second. Shea and Jokic were unanimous first teams. Luka had 1 second place vote. He should have been unanimous too. I don't understand why he wasn't.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. It's fucked up is what it is. And so he should have been unanimous. And then Giannis and Tatum, I'm okay with them not being unanimous. All in all, they got it right for the most part. I mean, the only thing I would say is that Brunson should have been in over Tatum. And that's just the truth. Like, that's the truth.
I'm looking at the guys who didn't. You got Maxey. I don't think he deserved to be there.
Was he next though?
I'm looking up the snubs, and it's just an article.
No Mitchell. You couldn't vote Mitchell. You couldn't vote Embiid. There's like so many guys that got knocked off because of injury alone.
Let's see. Fans question Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, Victor Wembanyama, all NBA snubs on Twitter. Wemby was not all NBA.
Wemby wasn't going to get it simply because they weren't competitive, and he had 70 dropped on his head. Wemby did great though because he's on the all defensive first team. He is the first player to do that.
Bam's not happy about it.
About what? Being on the all-NBA team?
Yeah.
Okay. Bam's an underappreciated player in the NBA, but he's nuts if he thinks he's one of the 15 best. Just because you're on the Team USA doesn't mean you're one of the 15 best players in the NBA. And this is why people were upset that Halliburton got in over Brunson on Team USA too. Like, Brunson should have that spot over Halliburton. Yeah, but now that's been put to bed because he beat him in the playoffs.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, his team lost.
Yeah.
Regardless of injury, regardless of everything, his team lost.
Yeah. I watch him play basketball. I know, but I watch him play basketball. I know who's better.
Yeah, I know who I would rather have on my team. But it depends on how your team is constructed. I don't want Jalen Brunson being my one, to be completely honest with you. That doesn't take away that this season he shouldn't have been on the first team, but I don't want Jalen Brunson being the best player on my team. Well, no. I would rather him be the second best player. Like, I don't want Tyrese Halliburton being the best player on my team.
I don't want Tyrese Halliburton on my team.
I'm okay with having a 6'6" guard that leads the NBA in assists on my team. I'm not against that. In a weird way, if Trey could be a better spot-up shooter, he would have been a better fit than DeJounte Murray, technically. Just from a sheer lineup standpoint.
Yeah.
But they both pass the ball so well. Put it this way. Actually, Halliburton would be a much better duo with Murray than Trey is with Murray. You'd have a big guard, two pretty good-sized guards. Halliburton, I don't think he's that good of a defender, really, but he's got size at least, and that's a plus. Like, he can shoot the three. He can stroke it a little bit. Hell, you saw he had a half-court shot yesterday, damn near.
He can shoot. It's not really like his game. And I hate his jump shot.
It is an ugly jump shot. It's not as bad as Sean Marion, but it's not pretty.
All right. As we get ready to close out hour one.
Wait. We got one more thing, basketball. We got the top 25 under 25.
Hey, I'm there. I'm about to pull up.
Oh, my bad. I didn't realize you were setting it up. I was just Here, I'll pass the ball back. Go ahead. You shoot.
All right, so as we get ready to close out hour one, the Ringer put out the top 25 players under 25. I'm actually going to pull the entire list up, and we're just going to go down it, but we're going to focus on the top 10 because Parlay Pete reshuffled the top 10 earlier today, and I thought it was amazing.
It was because that's really how it should look.
All right, so number 25, Jabari Smith. 24, Darius Garland. 23, Desmond Bain. 22, Jalen Green. 21, Jalen Johnson.
I like JJ being on the list. Let me tell you, if they get rid of Trey, not to cut you off, but if they get rid of Trey, he actually, to me, just from what I've seen, I think that he has that all-star potential. Like, I see the all-star potential with him. He should have been, low-key, if he wasn't kind of injured, he got injured kind of a little bit this year too. If he wasn't injured like that, man, he could have low-key won in most improved. Like, there was such a huge jump from him being really nobody last year to this year, showing that he's a 16, 8, and 5 type of dude. And that's with limited touches and like being maybe the fourth option on the team. Because Bogdanovich shoots the ball, Murray shoots the ball, Trey shoots the ball. And he was really kind of like the fourth option. That nigga can be a 20, 10, and 5 dude, like off as a third option, I think.
All right, so we got LaMelo Ball at 20, Jaren Jackson at 19, Franz Wagner at 18, Brandon Miller at 17, Evan Mobley tied at 15 with Trae Young. Hold on.
I didn't realize Trey was 20. I guess he is probably about 25.
He was 25. Bro, the Ringer hates Trae Young.
Yeah, that's disrespectful as fuck.
14, Cade Cunningham. Come on, man.
Over Trey?
13, Scotty Barnes.
Over Trey?
12, Şengün.
I like Şengün. I think Şengün is a baby Jokic, so.
Tied for 10, Ja Morant. Tied for 10, Zion Williamson. 9, Paolo Banchero. 8, Jalen Williams, who is the fucking second or third option. Get the fuck out of here. 7, Chet Holmgren, second option. 6, Tyrese Maxey, second option. 5, Tyrese Halliburton. 4, Luka Doncic. 3, Shai Gilgeous. 2, Anthony Edwards. 1, Victor Wembanyama.
Now that you've gone through this whole list, so now I would even change what I sent. I just sent you based on the top 10.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, I guess it does say 25 best, under 20, 25 and under. I didn't realize that Trae Young was on this list. Trae Young's in the top 10. Like, let's cut it out. Like, let's cut it out.
Trae Young is better at basketball than Tyrese Maxey.
Let's cut it out. All right? Like, let's cut the shit. So now that I know that, for one, Jalen Williams falls off the list. So does Chet, low-key, too. I would keep Maxey in there, but the two people that I would move up from the 25 and under, definitely Trae. Who was
Do you know Trae Young for his career averages 26 and 10?
Who's 13 and 14 on the list?
Did you know that Trae for a career averages 26 and fucking 10?
Yeah, as of right now, they did it. StatMuse did something on that to where he's in the top 5 in assists per game all time. Because he qualifies now because he's put in enough time or he's played enough games.
Scotty Barnes is 13 and Cade Cunningham is 14.
Who was 16 and 17?
Trae was tied for 15. Evan Mobley was tied for 15. 17 is Brandon Miller.
Yeah, he's too high on the list too.
He's not better than LaMelo Ball. If you want to hit LaMelo for his lack of health, okay, but Brandon Miller's not better at basketball.
Well, that's fair. I'm okay with you doing because that's why Zion and Ja are where they are. So, and because they're tied, actually, there we go. That's what makes it make more sense. So let's do it this way. All right, we're going to take Jalen Williams and Chet both off the list. We're going to put Maxey at 10, Banchero at 9, Halliburton at 8, Zion at 7, Ja at 6, Trae at 5, Wemby at 4, SGA 3, Ant 2, Luka 1.
You took Maxey out of the top 10.
No, Maxey's 10.
Okay.
Or no, you're right. No. I took 2 people out. Yes, you're right, because Ja and Zion was considered 1.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then Maxey's out of the top 10 then.
Yeah.
So Banchero 10, Halliburton 9, Zion 8, Josh 7, Trey 5, Wemby 4, SGA 3, Ant 2, Luka 1. And I base this on how, if I were a GM, how I would look at it. Because you have to ask yourself, who would you trade somebody for today? Like, that is kind of the easiest way. Now, of course, in a lot of these, there's 1As and 1Bs. Like, I don't think that Minnesota would be like, yes, give us Luka for Anthony Edwards, and vice versa. Vice versa. I don't think that Mark Cuban would be like, give us like that. Like, if they offered them that he would take it. So some of these are just pushes from that standpoint alone. Like, it's just going to be a push.
Yeah. Because you also got, like, who fits with your personnel better.
But that's where the Wemby trade part comes in. Like, I think that the Hawks would absolutely accept the trade for Wemby trade. And that's why Trey falls to 5 under Wemby, because the Hawks would take Wemby over Trey. But the Spurs would not take Trey over Wemby, and vice versa. That's where it stops. Because as crazy as it sounds, I don't think that the Thunder would trade, even personnel-wise. Let's say that Chet wasn't there. I don't think that the Thunder would trade SGA for Wemby today.
I don't either.
I don't think they would do it. So,
I mean SGA is
but the Spurs wouldn't do it either. Pop would not take SGA for Wemby today because it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter to the Spurs.
But also, Pop has job security, and so does Dagnall. And both of their GMs, whoever the GM is for the Spurs, Pop. And
is RC Buford still there?
Let me see. San Antonio Spurs GM. Brian Wright.
Okay, so they do have a new GM.
Yeah, but both of those front offices and coaching staffs have job security, so no, you wouldn't give up. Like, OKC wouldn't start over with Wemby because that puts them 3 years behind where they are, at least.
How do we know? But so this is why, even when I resent you that, I said this is based purely off of today, because we have to do it based on what we know. I hate potential for next season. I'm not looking at 5 years down.
Yeah, I hate when
that's why Wemby's first on the list.
Yeah, I hate when they make lists and they project it out too far, because you can't provide proper context, man. Because
that is literally why Wemby is number 1 on the list, because Wemby. And this is the thought. The thought is this: in 3 years, he could be the best player in the NBA.
He could be.
Like he actually can be the best player in the NBA. Zion, even, for instance, when he plays, he's clearly the Pelicans could have beat the Thunder in the first round. I know they got swept, but they could have won game 1. Like Zion is a good enough player when he's healthy. He ain't the best player. He's not what his expectation was, because it felt like he came in with LeBron, not LeBron hype, but a step below LeBron hype, basically. That this dude could be the next best player in the NBA type thing. And Edwards, as a 1, I don't think people thought he would be the best player in the NBA.
But they were
like how now going into next season, when the Ringer puts out their top 100 players list, Anthony Edwards is going to be in the top 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Here's the thing, man. Here's what people don't understand. And it's the same problem we run into with, like, quarterbacks. You know how they look at the raw skills, but they pretty much say one of the reasons why we're not good at selecting quarterbacks is because we don't know about the guy in the room. We don't know about the work ethic. We don't know what they're going to do to become better.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards has a post game and a pull-up mid-range game at 22. You don't.
And he's got size.
Yeah, but we knew
and can defend.
But we knew that before he came into the league.
There was somebody. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
we knew he was 6'5". We knew he could move up and down, left to right. We knew he was strong.
And because he played at UGA, it didn't hurt him, obviously, because he went 1. But I think because he didn't play around better talent, that people don't realize how skilled he was even there.
Yeah.
And the thing is that there was somebody that wrote an article on 24/7 Sports, one of the guys that does the rankings and scouts and stuff for them. And he said when he was a junior at Holy Spirit that he could play in the NBA today. And that's such a compliment. And let me tell you, I played in the same league that he did.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what type of teams he was going against.
Little
For somebody
different.
to be able to No, well, you have to remember. So Mount Vernon, we were not GHSA.
Yeah, y'all were Giza.
Yeah, and so Giza, there's some decent players in Giza. Like the best players in Giza go to Division I schools and play basketball, but they're like how my buddy, like my boy Latan, they play at Tulane and then they sit, like they're not starting. You know what I mean? They're going to go there, and then by their junior year, they should start. In his case, he was somebody that transferred after his sophomore year and became an all Big South player at Longwood. So like those are the type of players that play in Giza. He plays overseas, been playing overseas ever since. Like he can play, but he wasn't like that. And so and that's no shot to him. Shout out to Latan because he's doing his thing over there. Like I wish I was playing overseas, but they're not those type of players, is my point. And so for them to identify that against that type of talent, it wasn't just the elite athlete, like athleticism. They looked at how he was playing, and it was just like, man, this nigga is something else. Like, he's different. And so I read that. Somebody put that article up on Twitter of somebody doing an article on him on 24/7 Sports and basically saying he was NBA ready his junior year. And so, and I'm sure the AAU circuit helps too, because, of course, he played against the top talent when he did play in the summer. But I don't know if anyone, when he got picked one, was like, yeah, he will be the face of the league. I think that the expectation was that he would be an all-star in the NBA and he's going to change your franchise. But nobody expected at 22 for him to be in the conversation for face of the NBA. And that's where he's at today.
And we didn't know how marketable he is.
Well, nobody thought that everybody would love an authentic Atlanta nigga like that.
I don't know why. Everybody love Atlanta niggas.
No, it's true, but I think it's authentic.
Our culture.
He's not like even necessarily being like foul-mouthed or anything. He's just talking to you normally.
He talks.
You know what I mean? Like
he is media trained, but he's not polished. He's authentic. Like we see it a little bit more.
Charles Barkley-esque when it comes to the media. You know, Charles is media today, and
but he's still not. But yeah, he's not polished. Like we see
polished today. He's been in it for 20 plus years. He's polished today. He just doesn't give a fuck, but he's polished.
Polished may not be the right word. It may be refined.
He's not the same Charles that was taking interviews when he was a player, is what I'm saying.
No, but the tone is still the same.
Yeah, but that's because that's him. But that's why that's Anthony Edwards. Like, that's him.
Well, let's contrast it to LeBron. We know LeBron is fake as hell in the media.
He always has been.
Yeah, like we know, like LeBron does it.
Well, Kobe came into the league almost polished.
Yeah, Kobe sucked.
Kobe's always been, but Kobe also, we know that he's, because think about it, people used to
Hey, hold on. We're not bringing Kobe into this conversation right now.
Yes, we are, because
I know you love
the graphic talking about these three. So,
I know you love Kobe, but god damn it, can we let the man rest?
He is resting.
You're pulling the Tatum right now.
No, I'm not pulling a Tatum. All I'm saying is when we compare the faces of the league, when you think about it, if he's the next face, if in fact, whether he wins the NBA Finals or not, I think if they win this series,
he's face of the league.
He's certainly the face of American basketball. There's no doubt about that.
He's the face of the league. Give me a Jokic quote.
It's because Jokic is doing fucking hotel.com commercials with his teammates. And Ant can do a Sprite commercial like LeBron did in a Powerade or
Ant got the Sprite commercial with Grant Hill. Ant got the movie.
I said that. I literally said that. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying at the press conference.
Are you
at the press conference?
You're gonna play?
No, I'm not gonna play. I'm just saying him at the press conference. It is authentic as Allen Iverson getting pressed about practice after dropping a 30 ball when his partner passed away. But at the same time, it's as palatable and receivable as a player going up there saying, hey, we played hard, teammates stepped up, we executed coach's game plan, and we got out there, we won the game.
Right.
But that is Atlanta culture.
Yes.
Atlanta culture is country. Niggas in Atlanta curse way too much. Because, I mean, how many times have you gone somewhere to, like, get some food, especially fast food, and just get cursed at, And it's normal.
It's a part of it.
It's like, shit, goddamn, let me get that motherfucking number one. Nobody's offended.
Right.
And that's what Ant-Man is. And I'm happy we're in a space where that personality
can thrive and be okay.
Yeah, because I don't want Ant-Man up there sounding like LeBron in the press conference. I want him to say, "Cat, stop motherfucking fouling." I liked that one clip when he dunked on our former Hawk John Collins and was like, "I got that nigga," or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Ant-Man is the token. Like, Ant-Man is what the token nigga who actually acts like a nigga but has a bunch of white friends. Where you can use the N-word and they are not uncomfortable, but they're also not saying it.
I just feel like he's a nigga from here, bro. Like, in a weird way, run and shoot is shut down. But man, let me tell you something about run and shoot. This is why, like, even when people ask where I'm from, and I'm like, if it's somebody from Atlanta, of course I tell them all the time, Stone Mountain.
Yeah.
But like anyone else, I'll say Atlanta, because although I didn't grow up down here and go to school down here, what I do, well, technically I did, because Mount Vernon's address is Atlanta, Georgia. But my thing is this.
That don't count.
I did grow up down here. Like, I didn't go to school down here, but I grew up down here.
Private school.
Down here during football season, I was here damn near every other Sunday, let alone whenever we did family shit downtown. Like, and I'm not talking walking fucking Centennial Park.
Private high school, private college, man. You privileged nigga. You don't know nothing about APS.
Okay, yeah, because I don't, because I didn't go to APS. We played against APS though in the summer, and we beat them niggas. Like, so look, this is what I'm saying. Just because them niggas think that they can out physical a nigga, that don't mean that I ain't listen to the same music, and it ain't niggas that were from around where I'm from that fucking made it, that did the talk about the shit that they talk about too.
No, your parents just had
Black Mob was a real thing. Like Drewski is from the East Side, and his skits and shit be based on that nigga is from Stone Mountain too. Like, them niggas, Donald, Childish Gambino, Donald, them niggas are from the same area I'm from, and this is all I'm saying. Lloyd, like, these people are from these niggas went to the same places I went to.
Except for Mount Vernon.
Yeah, but I went to Stevenson too. So I know what I went to DeKalb County school too. What the fuck? Like, I grew up in DeKalb County. Like, I know.
I tell you, I almost went to Southwest DeKalb.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
My mom got offered a job there.
SWD. That's the rivalry there, is Stevenson's band versus their band.
Yeah, I just ended up not going.
To me, well, I always thought we had a better band, low key, and it's not the biasness of being from there. I was in the band in middle school, but like, obviously, I know the band directors because I was in the band, and I know
you was a band nigga. What happened to band camp?
I played saxophone. I hated it. Taurus, I know you don't know Taurus that well, but like,
I met him.
Taurus was actually like first chair saxophone. Taurus was good. I wasn't. I was like 6. Like, I was not good. And I was like 6 out of like 7 or 8. So,
so you was in concert band?
Yeah, hell yeah. No,
they wouldn't let your ass march.
No. So like, but I didn't go, and wasn't in band in high school. In 8th grade, we got to go to one of the Stevenson games at Pantherville Stadium, and we were like the outside holding, like we were a box around the band marching. So I got to experience it or whatever. But like I said, Taurus was more of a concert band nigga himself anyways, because he wasn't a marcher, but he was also like one of the best saxophonists. Like, put it this way. You know how you have to, like, we had to buy saxophones. Like, so like, I had a saxophone, an alto saxophone. He know how to play alto, soprano, nigga, the baritone saxophone. They were giving him instruments that he could play and that he could take from the school and bring back. He was good. My brother was a very good saxophone player.
Oh, so he gets pussy.
He's married.
Oh, with respect, I didn't know. My bad.
No, yeah, he's been married. He's the only brother of us that is married. But okay, and we can get off this. But my point is that like
False.
he's more of that, like from that perspective. But with Southwestern Cab, I always thought that Stevenson to me was just a better school than Southwestern Cab. I know that Southwestern Cab always had the history, like because Stevenson's a relatively new school to a degree. Like my brother, Laris, was the first freshman class at Stevenson High School, 1990. Like he graduated in 2000, so he was a part of the first class to ever go from freshman to senior year out of the school. Southwestern Cab and Redan kind of were always the ones that in Stone Mountain High School had like the history, because let's say Stevenson never existed, like I would have went to Stone Mountain High School because that was the closest one. Or that or Redan. It would have been one or the other. Or
you would have went to that program like Boink and took your ass go to Chamblee.
Yeah. You know, me and Boink talk about that because you know how close Boink's parents' house is to my parents?
Close.
We live like 5 minutes apart. But like it's so funny because obviously I never knew Boink. But Boink also went to Chamblee. Chamblee's so fucking far away. Like he might as well went to Mount Vernon. I'm serious. We passed Chamblee. Chamblee is probably from Mount Vernon like 12 minutes.
Sounds like a lot of privilege to me.
I don't know. Yeah, I tell you, you slice that up how you want.
I went to Cass High School in the country.
Hey, I met one of your alumni. She was serving me drinks and we talked about it.
Yeah, distinguished alumni. But anyways, that's hour one, guys. Oh man, let's get to hour two, Parlay Pete. We didn't get to talk about the schedule reveal at all. So what I'm going to do is
because we were off last week.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull up the Falcons schedule and I'm going to share screen so we can talk about it.
Okay. Let's. I'm gonna send something in the progress. We're good because Justin isn't even here yet. But
okay, yeah. That's why I want to get to the schedule. Then we can jump to culture because there's not much else to talk about.
Let's do it.
Let's see.
But before we do that, or even though I know you just called the hour, I was gonna say NBA final. Who's gonna win both of these series?
Oh, Boston and Minnesota.
Okay, I like Dallas, Minnesota. I mean, I like Dallas, Boston.
All right, so here we got the Falcons schedule. I don't care about the preseason. The only home game is Jacksonville. So if you're from Cartersville and you're listening and you want a chance to see Trevor Lawrence warm up on the sideline, got some tickets for you.
Yeah, because he's not even going to play in that game.
No. Do you think
I tell you what, this is the important part about preseason. Do you think Kirk Cousins takes any snaps?
I hope he does.
And then by preseason game 3, do you even think Penix takes snaps?
I don't think Penix takes many snaps if he looks good.
Penix is going to start the Miami Dolphin game. He'll start the Ravens. I don't think Kirk's going to take preseason snaps.
So is week 2 or week 3 the game that we care about? Because
it's weird now because it used to be the game 3 was for sure like the dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
But now you don't, especially coming in with an injured quarterback like we have, or that's coming off of an injury. Let me not say injured, but coming off an injury. You don't want him to get hurt. And he might, I tell you what, this is what happened last year. Dez was given the fucking keys. Oh. Dez only played in the second preseason game and he did one drive.
It was disgusting.
Who was fucking crazy?
Like, it's something about being a varsity player and sitting on the bench in like a blowout. Certain situations you just don't play.
Taylor Heineke only damn near played in one preseason game last year. And that was the second game after Dez's first snap. He played the rest of the first half. And then that third game, it was Logan Woodside again. Like,
well,
Baltimore might be the worst game. It's a good measuring stick game, but that might be the worst game to do it in because of their mentality on defense and how they play. Like, that would be the game where people are going to potentially get injured. because these are hard. It's just this AFC North football. So
and yeah, they play hard.
Like the Dolphins game is going to be a flag football game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be bad college football.
Yeah.
So let's get down into the actual schedule. Week 1, we got the Steelers at home on Fox, 1 o'clock Eastern. Jew Turner's going to be buying me drinks all night because we're going to beat them 27-24, 28-24.
Fucking silly is what we're going to do.
Then we got week 2, Monday Night Football. Hey, for all the people who don't understand why the Falcons picked up Kirk Cousins and also drafted Michael Penix, it's this right here. We're on Monday Night Football week 2.
Yeah.
Like we want to play real football. Then we follow that up week 3 with the Chiefs, Sunday Night Football. We got Chris. We got Mike. I'll tell you what, Mike. That Patrick Mahomes boy, he really throws a ball like no other. I've caught balls from Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Well, I've never caught a ball like a Pat Mahomes ball, man. Those balls are some of the best balls in the fucking league. Then we come back. Then we're at home against New Orleans Saints, early game. I really think Rich McKay had his hands all over the schedule.
And then, by the way, let's stop here. In terms of stop here, just to recap and go over it. What type of record do you think we have through 4 weeks?
2-2.
Really? So you expect us to lose the Eagles game and probably the Chiefs game?
Yeah. But I wouldn't be shocked if we win one of those and then lose on some bullshit to the Saints or the Steelers.
So we're in agreement that we beat Pittsburgh. I think Philly coming back from Brazil, even although they play on a Friday night, I think that's a sneaky game to look at that we could I really like us to beat the Chiefs because we haven't had a Sunday night game. And as long as we like let's say we put our foot in fucking Pittsburgh's ass, I expect that week 3 matchup to be like hype. And like we actually have it. And like Patrick Mahomes, I've seen it before. We've seen it before. Peyton Manning made his, because that'll be the Chiefs' first road game of the year too, by the way. Peyton Manning made his road debut with the Broncos in week 2 on Monday Night Football against us. He threw 3 interceptions in the first quarter. We only ended up winning the game by 3, but we went to the NFC Championship that year. But I guess my point is this: we played against this, and Peyton had a crazy fucking game.
I'm taking the Falcons on the points that week, by the way. Chiefs don't cover.
It's only going to be – they already put the spread up, actually, I think. Hold on.
I care about the week of spread.
I know, but because, it'll be 2 weeks in. But let me just tell you what they even opened it up with. I want to say –
Chiefs by 3?
Hold on. Let me see. What was it? No, that isn't the game. They have the Eagles spread up already. We're a 3.5-point dog at Philly. So
give me the Birds. The Falcons.
All right, I was about to say which one. I have to imagine, man, that game's going to be a fucking pick 'em.
Especially for 2-0.
Well, and then what if Kansas City is 1-1, right?
Yeah, they could easily drop
the game to the Ravens or the Bengals. Then it's like, oh shit, they're 1-2. Like they'd be 1-2 if they lose this game, and I don't know.
And we're being honest, Baltimore might put foots in their ass. Ring ceremony, all that shit.
Rasheed Rice. I think we can all agree Rasheed Rice won't play, so it'll be a worthy Kelsey Pacheco game. So this is my thought through the first quarter of the season. I think we're going to be 3-1. I think we're going to beat New Orleans. I think we're going to beat Kansas City, and I think we're going to protect home field. We're going to win the home games.
Okay, so then we got Thursday Night Football, Tampa Bay at home. I like us.
I do too.
Then we got Carolina on the road. I like us. Seattle at home.
I like us.
Like us. Tampa Bay on the road.
Game. We probably should drop this one, But if not, then we're gonna know where we're at. We're gonna know that we're really cooking, and
I don't know if we sweep Tampa Bay, but if we go through this first 8-week stretch, and we win 1, 2, 3, 4 division games, we're 4-0 in the division.
I'd be shocked, just not because I don't think that we're capable, but because it's just not likely. That's just not the way it works out typically.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay's not going to be bad.
Tampa Bay will win 9 games again this year. They will be a 9-8 team.
They'll be somewhere between 7 and 10 wins.
Yes, agreed.
So and
the Saints will be an 8 or 7 win team.
And the games that they lose, they're not going to get their fucking ass kicked either.
Because they have a stout defense, it just is going to come down to how can Baker repeat his. Baker hasn't done back-to-back seasons of being good.
No, he hasn't.
So we need to see it.
So then we got Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be that good next year.
Here's going to be the thing with this, though. It's always going to be circumstantial. What are they coming in? Are they 4-4? How are they coming into the week? That always, to me, I hate to say that a team doesn't play as hard every week, but they play extra hard when they know they need to win a game, right?
We need to be 5-3 going into that Cowboys game.
We will be. We will. I tell you what, clip this shit right now. We will win 5 games going into week 9. We will have 5+ wins. Because
we know the Cowboys fans travel, and we just want it to be a 50-50 game. And if we're 5-3,
but it won't be 50-50 at that point. When we're winning, we drown out good crowds, good traveling teams.
Especially if Wrench pumps in the crowd noise.
I already told you, granted, NFC Championship's a whole different ball game. But Green Bay's in town. Look, man, that crowd was 90% Atlanta.
Oh yeah, no.
Really no Packers. It wasn't that many Packers fans there, and we were. I looked it up. We were actually 6.5-point favorites, that's Vegas knowing though, because why were we that big of a favorite?
Because the Green Bay hadn't looked good yet, and we did.
Well, we had blew out the 2 teams we played, but at the same time, why were we that big of a favorite, knowing that Aaron Rodgers had won 7 games in a row and that he had already come to the Georgia Dome and lit us the fuck up? But previously in the playoffs, we beat them earlier in the regular season by 1 point that year. But
come on, Ant.
Why? But why? Why did they come in like that? I don't know. My point is that Vegas knows something. But that was a special team too that we had, and so I expect us to beat Dallas. The New Orleans game's always a tough one, but I think that, especially the way that it ended last year, Arthur Smith knew that he wasn't going to be coaching this game, but he kind of lit the fire maybe under the team about that Bush League ass shit that the Saints did pull. We could sweep them, and I think that this year of all years, especially with Kirk Cousins, he don't know about this rivalry.
Kirk Cousins has not played.
This isn't a primetime game right now. It's a 1 p.m. game on Fox. So we know that he plays well in those games. And so
Kyrie has 23 in the first half, 11 for 14, just got an and 1.
Not surprised.
Then we go to Denver. I like the idea of going to Denver mid-season.
Yeah.
Because you got your wind about you, so that home field's not that home field. It's going to be cold, but it shouldn't be too bad.
Well, by that point, Bo Nix might be starting. If he doesn't start week 1, he could be starting by then for them. You might catch him on his first week. They might start Stidham.
So I would have just we talked about away games. That Denver's going to be a hard one because that's the day before my birthday.
Yeah, I know your birthday, nigga. You Drake ass nigga. I know your birthday.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, as far as
I've already told you which ones I want to do. Well,
so we'll talk about it as we get down the schedule. Let me get back to the schedule because
go ahead, go.
It's halftime.
And it sounds like Justice just got here too.
Okay, cool. So we got bye week 13. We got the Chargers week 13, bye week 12. Chargers week 13 at home.
We win that game. Coming off a bye, we win that game.
Then we go to Minnesota. I think we get a little bit of get back. I don't think Minnesota's going to be a really good team.
I don't think that they. But hear me out on Minnesota on why that's just not. That really could be the trip up game. Because we're gonna have these games where it's like a trip up. That could be a trip-up game because I bet that Minnesota, just like they were last year when Kirk Cousins went down, they were actually competitive. So let's stop acting like Minnesota wasn't competitive with Mullins, what's his face, Dobbs. They were competitive. So we lost. It is a get-back game for the guys on the team last year here because that was a game we shouldn't have lost. But they're still super talented. They got better at running back. They got Aaron Jones. So offensively, it's the same team. It's just not Kirk Cousins. Defensively, they lost Danielle Hunter.
Yep.
Big miss for sure. But they drafted his replacement, and a lot of people thought that we should have drafted him. And who knows? He might come in that game saying, man, I was projected to go to you guys this whole time. This is get-back sex for me. It could go a lot of different ways when it comes.
But it might be get-back sex for Kirk, too.
It is. Well, right. But Minnesota didn't do Kirk wrong. And if anything, it'll be one of those emotional games of, man, I wish I had stayed now considering what happened.
True. So then we go to Vegas. Hey, I might actually be able to make that Vegas trip.
That is going to be the one. I'm telling you. I've been waiting for this since they moved to Vegas. I knew that we were going to play. I'm shocked that it's a Monday night, but you know me. I'm going to want to be at that game.
I was talking to my brother-in-law, and he's actually planning to go to that game, like not even being a Falcons game. So that trip may actually work out because we talked about it while he was here. We get the New York Football Giants at home. I think they're a bad football operation.
Well, by that point, Drew Lock's locked in as the starter. So which will make them maybe a little bit more competitive, but that's a bad football team. So, yeah, we're going to win that game.
I think week 17 gets weird because we're playing against DQ.
I think he pulls out all the stops.
Yeah.
Just like he did. So just like the Falcons did, we were a losing football team. You may or may not remember this. Julio caught the game-winning touchdown pass against the 49ers. This was a year where the 49ers went to the Super Bowl and played the Chiefs.
That was the year you were supposed to come out to the game and you decided not to come.
No, I didn't. My daughter was born. But
okay. I didn't remember the reason why you didn't.
You dick. She was literally born the week before.
I didn't remember the dates of the game. I just remember being an hour away from the game.
Did y'all end up going?
No.
Penis. Y'all didn't even end up going.
I went to the bar in my Falcons jersey and watched.
You and Boink should have went to the game. Y'all could have still went. I didn't, but that was the reason I didn't go. It was 2019.
I guess your daughter being born is a legitimate reason not to go to a game.
You guess, huh? But
I missed the Chargers game the day my daughter was born.
Yeah, and even last year for the Pittsburgh game, daughter's birthday. I didn't, and I would have just taken them to the game with me, but I wasn't going to do that because it's like I know that she doesn't. She's not. It's not that. So I didn't go to that, and we lost that game. But we went to Sky Zone instead. We had a lot of fun. But
Sky Zone is way more fun for parents than for kids.
Well, you got to pay for your socks and getting in. It was, man, when you do that. Let's say you pay for 2 hours. A family of 3. Nigga, that is like almost $100 because the 2-hour charge is like $25 per adult. So that's $50 you and mom. So that's $50 there. The socks are $4, $58. The daughter, it's like $15. You do that, plus there's games. They have arcades, and in our case, Mari wanted to play arcades. You probably buy $20 worth of tickets or coins or whatever to do that, and then you're gonna get food. Maybe not there, but you're gonna get food anyway. It's $100 thing, anyways.
You spent $100 for
gas to drive wherever you're going.
You spent more for less,
for sure. But I wasn't mad about missing that Falcons game. For one, we were a playoff team, and I thought we could beat the Steelers, but I was mad because I lost money to Julian Turner, and so I plan on taking his money this year for week 1 when he's there. And I know that we'll have a nice little tailgate, and we'll get to talk about that even greater there. But my point is the Dan Quinn game.
Oh, shit. Why you say that? Cindy got me cordless mics for our anniversary.
Like the head joints.
Yeah, so we like lapel mics.
Yeah.
So we could actually record like pre-game content, even if it's just audio. That's
all we need, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be great to show our face, but we don't.
We'll if we can figure out a setup that works, we will. But yeah. So then we got the Panthers week 18. That game might not even matter. What's up, Hoos?
He's on. Yeah, he's on those. He heard you. He said, "Yo."
He got any Falcons comments while we switch to culture real quick and get up out of here?
If he can get here soon, over here, then yeah, I'm sure he can. He had a question for you. Go ahead, say it again, Lee.
Hey, you got any Falcons comments before we get up out of here?
Any Falcons comments? No,
I'm very.
What's up, Lee? By the way, I'm very excited for Michael Penix. I still stand by the pick. I love the pick, and I'm excited for the future. I think this year the Falcons should make the playoffs. To me, we've got the easiest schedule in the NFL based off everything I saw. So I don't. 11 wins. 10 wins at a minimum. I think anything short of 10 wins is a disappointment, but they should be between 10 and 12 wins realistically.
Please don't answer this on here, but I would love to get your thoughts. Again, don't answer it on here about the cheerleaders that I sent you all earlier today.
Very disappointed. If Mr. Cathy, Bubba Cathy, and Dan can hear this, please purchase the Atlanta Falcons. And those same morals and principles you use to run Chick-fil-A, use to run the Atlanta Falcons.
Thanks, Hoos, bro. It was good. Good thing, you dog.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with it. I mean, I saw it. I was lost for words myself.
All right, man. Let's hit culture real quick. And culture involves WNBA because WNBA doesn't really get like a real topic on a show.
Right.
College football playoff is in Atlanta this year.
Yes, it is.
At the least, I'm tailgating.
I think that's a good call. I think it's a good call. I know that you got a quarterfinal game and the national championship. I'm hopeful that maybe our rep. It's weird the way that they do it. We get tickets to all of it, but the SEC championship game, for instance, we don't get our seats, which is weird. But we got our college football playoff seats. Like for the semifinal, we got to sit where we want, and then the national championship. When it was Bama, Georgia, we got to purchase tickets, and I think I've talked about the story enough. We sold our tickets there. We sold, but it made plenty of money. We were just in the 200s, but it wasn't our seats. Our seats, I think, are corporate seats for certain events. And my hope is that the quarterfinal game, we would be able to have our seats because for the semifinal game, we had our seats. We got to see when Joe Burrow threw 7, it was 7 touchdowns, right, Justice? Yeah, when they played Oklahoma, he threw 7 in the first half, right? We were there. We got to see that shit. CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Hurts.
I just know you diced him niggas up something nasty.
Man, he threw like he threw 7 for the game. I just thought he threw them all in the first half. Look it up. I'm almost certain he threw 7 touchdowns in the first half of that game. I'm
looking it up right now.
And it was like the most, and we went to the SEC championship game the week before because we sat next to.
He had a total of 8 touchdowns in that game.
So how many did he have in the first? They scored 49 points in the first half, so that's why I think he threw 7.
Let's see. First quarter he threw a touchdown. Second quarter he threw a touchdown. Third quarter he threw a touchdown.
That's what I thought. So all right, my memory is good. He threw 7 fucking touchdowns we saw that. So my hope is that maybe we'll get another moment. Quarterfinals, if Georgia's the number 1 seed, hopefully it sets up to where the bracket makes it to where they will be there.
Hold on, bro. This nigga really threw 7 tubs in.
I'm trying to tell you. See, and I'll tell you what, I'll give you another fun fact if you're looking at the box score, because I'm not. CeeDee Lamb had like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game, too.
No, he had 4 for 119.
4 touchdowns.
No, 4 receptions for 119. Jalen Hurts only 3.
How many touchdowns though? He had 3.
No, he didn't have any. Jalen Hurts didn't throw any touchdowns. He ran for 2. Justin Jefferson had 14 for 227 and 4 tubs.
All right. So either way, we got to see the greatest, arguably, I know everybody likes to bring up 0-1 Miami and all this other stuff. We got to see arguably the greatest college football team ever.
Yeah. Let's see what else.
That was a good, think about. I want you to think about it. That Oklahoma team was good.
Yeah, they were
That
stacked.
was a good Oklahoma team.
And they play like shit.
Did they play like shit or was just nigga? Were they dicing LSU's? I mean, Oklahoma's defense up like shit.
Well, the way I'm looking at
their offense didn't play well. It means that the defense couldn't fucking stop them.
I mean, Justin Jefferson is catching passes in double coverage, and yeah, Joe Burrow's put in a tight window. I mean, I'm not gonna say that out loud. AB's broke. Do we care about that?
Not really.
Do you think Jalen Brunson should re-sign early to make less money to help the team out?
He's going to miss out on $100 million. I think I saw something on Twitter where
He missed out on
if Carmelo Anthony was asked just by the Knicks, that nigga would have farted and then left the room is what somebody said.
Well, I mean, Melo asked for the trade so he could get the 5th year and not sign as a free agent. Like he wanted his money.
Well, and then he re-signed when he was getting pampered by the Lakers, the Rockets. There was a couple of teams that, gave him the video package or whatever. And he took the money. New York was not in a state of competing, and everybody knew it was like, yeah. But I'm not mad at Melo.
I'm never mad at
that championship ring cost $100 million to a nigga when you know you're a Hall of Famer anyways? No.
Gilbert Arenas said he would not trade careers with Robert Horry.
Exactly. Like,
I said, shit, nigga, me neither.
Yeah. So,
all right. So, Apple Music did their top 100 albums. Let's focus on the top 10. Number 10, Lemonade. Be honest with you, I don't like this because I think Beyonce is a better album than Lemonade.
Okay, I can agree with you on that. I think that's her best album too. I think Beyonce's her best
album. Nirvana, Nevermind is number 9. I don't really care.
Hold on. Well, I'm going to pause you there. Arguably, I'd say I don't listen to very many rock albums. That is like one of the best albums ever. For sure.
I don't say that. I'm saying I don't care because I
never heard it.
No. I've listened to this album, but I can't contextualize it against other. I don't listen to enough rock to be like, oh no, this album should have been above that one, right?
I think that is one of the best albums. I would put it. I'm fine with it being in the top 10. How about that? Like, I like that album that much too.
Let's see what else we got. At number 8, we have Amy Winehouse, Back to Black.
Never listened to it. I know songs off of it, but I haven't listened to it front to back.
Number 7, Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City.
His best album. We can argue that, like, his best album, but
that van's gone.
What a fucking dick suck. I'm sorry, man. The glazing of Kendrick Lamar has been like, I can't believe, and maybe people do hate Drake that much. It is wild to me because obviously Drake had an out. Take Care is on this 100 list, and that's Drake's. Like, if you ask me,
Drake does not have an album better than Good Kid, Mad City.
See, here's the thing with that though. They're all the same. It's kind of the same era. It really is like the same era. That's why Kendrick's. They're on both each other's albums.
Yeah, but Drake does not have an album as good as Good Kid, Mad City.
It just depends on what you like more, I guess. Because Take
I
Care,
like good music.
But I'm just saying, Take Care was in the top 50.
I like Take Care, but it's not better than Good Kid, Mad City. I don't even think that's a conversation.
I think they're close. I think it's closer than it's closer than how they have it on the list. Is what I'm saying.
Number 6, Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life. That's an amazing album. I love that album. One of my favorite albums.
What are the? I don't even know what's on it. I know Stevie Wonder's great, but like.
So one song is As, and I love that.
Hotter Than July is the one I know more from.
Let's see. We got Sir Duke, I Wish, Knocks Me Off My Feet, Pastime Paradise, Isn't She Lovely?
Okay.
I might listen to that tonight. Let me go ahead and download this album. Frank Ocean, 5, Blonde.
That isn't even his best album. Channel Orange is better than that.
Yeah, I thought Channel Orange is better than Blonde, but number 4, Prince, Purple Rain. No one can't argue that.
I won't argue with it. No.
Number 3, Abbey Road, the Beatles. I don't listen to the Beatles, so
I know that is like their most famous album. So like I get why they're on there because they're like Billboard wise, they are like one of the best selling ever. So like I won't argue with it just because it's on there.
Number 2 is Thriller. Not my favorite Michael Jackson album, but I get it.
It's the highest selling album of all time. Everybody knows that there's no skip on Thriller.
No.
Like so it's the epitome. It's the epitome of Michael Jackson, literally.
And then number 1 is the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and I think that's a loaded
good album. I don't think it's the best album ever, and everybody knows that. No, not everybody was going to be happy with this list and whoever was number 1. But to snub Michael Jackson like that is the craziest thing because I think that at least with Thriller, that not only do the numbers back it up, but
he has other albums to reference it to. How about that one?
Michael Jackson, it was going to be hard. Like they showed Ebro giving her the award and talking and explaining, and then they did an explanation on Apple Music's Twitter to where it was explained how they came to this decision. And then they talked about like even Kendrick. They were like, some people were like, "To Pimp a Butterfly should have been over a Good Kid." Like, how is To Pimp a Butterfly?
Wild. That's
how
wild.
is To Pimp a Butterfly not on the 100 list total, but then Good Kid is 7, and people think that To Pimp a Butterfly is better.
I think those people are wrong.
But at the end of the day, this is what music's about. It is about. That's why pop exists. It's about how many people can swallow this music and digest it.
And
like that is a part of it. Like that, but I'm just saying that is a part.
Pimp a Butterfly is not the most swallowable album. Pause.
Exactly, but that's the point. But my point is, that's what I'm saying. When we start talking about best albums ever, like it needs to be, everybody needs to be able to like it too. And so I thought it was weird. Like obviously, I think Radiohead and somebody else, there were only 2 artists that even had 2 albums.
Which is nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. Which is even crazier.
Confessions was 95. That's bullshit.
It is. That is bullshit. That's bullshit. They had, like I said, it's not because I'm a Kanye fan, man, but My Beautiful Dark should have been higher. Like My Beautiful Dark's a better album than Good Kid, Mad City. That's just my opinion.
What number was My Beautiful Dark? I'm looking for
26. Right, and so the Blueprint, and I love the Blueprint. When people ask me what Jay-Z's best album is, I typically will say the Blueprint. That was 13th. I like the Blueprint. Love the Blueprint. I think that in terms of commercial success and everything, in totality, that is Jay-Z's best album, in my opinion, from that perspective. But when Ebro broke down how they put together the list, I didn't understand
how's a Dell 2115?
Like 808s and Heartbreak probably should have been on this list based on what he said.
Fucking Diamond
album, but what he said influence, what it means to the culture, and it's like, well, 808s and Heartbreak is any nigga that sings and raps.
I can see why 808s and Heartbreak doesn't make that list though.
How? That's a great album.
No. I love that album. I think my Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is my favorite album. Period.
That's Kanye's magnum opus for sure.
It's my favorite album.
Like nobody will disagree that that's Kanye's best album. Like there are people that can say, "Oh, it's like I have a favorite." Like some people think, okay, we got this nigga now, and this is a nigga that I didn't talk to about this. When we start talking about best albums, My Beautiful Dark is Kanye's best album, but there are people that will say Graduation's a better album, that's their favorite album. And I know that this list was not supposed to be about favorites. It was supposed to be subjective as hell. And what is the best album?
You mean objective? Objective,
yeah. I know the difference, nigga. But I appreciate you.
Yeah, you know, Josh Holsey's listening. He might check the box score, so we don't want him to, run off any misquotes.
We'll make it. But yeah. And so it's one of those things where I'm not mad at that placement because I don't listen to all music in the world ever.
I'm mad at Lauryn Hill being number 1.
I don't like it from the perspective of I see the rap albums that came before that got ranked higher. The Chronic is not even Dr. Dre's best album, and it's in the top 20.
What do you think?
2001 is better than the Chronic.
I think you're one of the few people who believe that.
Really? So am I one of the few people too that thinks that Life After Death's better than Ready to Die too? Because I think Life After Death's a better album than Ready to Die.
You know what makes some of these conversations difficult is that we weren't outside when they came out.
But not everybody. Nigga, the Beatles was third. So like I know that Ebro's ass wasn't listening to that shit when it came out. So even if it's just like when we do an NBA list and Michael Jordan is ranked number one on
Josh Hosey said Ready to Die is better.
Okay, I don't. It's good. That's an opinion. He said that Biggie's Ready to Die is better than Life After Death. So Biggie's first album is better than his second. I think Biggie's second album is better. There's more hits on there. It's a 2-disc album though. So maybe that plays into it. Let me guess. Does Josh Hosey think that Bad's better than Thriller 2? I mean, what? like, come on.
That's not a bad take.
I think it is, but it's nothing. Look, Michael Jackson made nothing but hits, which is even more of a travesty that he only has one album on the top 100. Like, come on.
I mean, whatever they're in.
Had 2 albums on here, and I like. Everybody loves Say It Ain't So. Not Say It Ain't So. Everybody loves Creep. Creep is great. There's other Radiohead songs that I love too. But there's no way that Radiohead is like them. I think it was maybe somebody else that had another album. 1989 by Taylor Swift. There's just no fucking way. Like, I get it. You had to include her. She's who she is. But let's keep it 100 when it comes to these lists. There were albums that were left off this list. And the fact that Apple wanted to put their name on it is crazy. Nobody gives a fuck about Nick. What is he talking about, man?
Hey, Josh, you see where we at with it tonight, man?
He hadn't had any of this blue run.
You know, I think it's all subjective, and Apple did their job, right? They make you talk about the list, and then it makes you go and stream those albums so they make more money, right? Mm-hmm. Do you have Spotify's list handy?
No, hold on. I can pull it up, though.
Let me see because I don't think I have
it on Spotify, crazy enough.
I don't use that app. I'm an Apple Music guy.
So this list, though, it's only hip-hop records, but it's the top 100 streamed hit during the streaming era. So since streaming has been a thing, these were
last years.
Yeah, it's top 100. So I'm going to just go through the top 10. And you tell me if the list is valid. So at 10 is Juice WRLD, Lucid Dreams. Big hit. He makes a ton, like even in depth, he makes a ton of fucking money. I remember when this song came out, good song. I didn't realize it was Interscope. I didn't realize he was signed to Dr. Dre, but makes sense. Pop Smoke Dior is 9. This is the song, obviously, that got him on the map. I don't think that it's his best song. Personally, there's like 2 other songs I really like by him that are better than this, but this is the song that put him on, so it makes sense that it's, and they're not doing it by the numbers. They're doing it by, like, the numbers are included because All Right's not the most streamed song. So
I get to the rest of the list so I can tell you why you're wrong on All Right.
Okay. 8 is Sheck West, Mo Bamba. Huge record. Me and Jew were out at Oktoberfest. They played this in Austria while we were there. Big pop. Like, I mean, it was huge. This is a big record.
I've never been anywhere where Mo Bamba came on and that shit didn't get rocking.
Yeah. So and this was when it was like hot. Like, it wasn't 2 years later at a college football game. This was when the song was on top. It was huge out there with that. Travis Scott, 7, Sicko Mode.
Yeah.
I like the song. I mean, I like the song. I don't have any issue with it being in the top 10. 6, the song that I thought maybe should have been in the top 3. I won't say it was number 1, but I thought it should have been top 3. Migos featuring Lil Uzi Vert, Bad and Bougie. Bad and Bougie is the best Migos song ever that they put out.
Commercially, yeah.
Commercially, this is what this list is about. It's not about not commercial. It is about commercial. This song should have been in the top 3. I think that this song was huge. It was huge. Like, this is like a song that everybody knows the lyrics to. Point blank. 5, March Madness Future. Thought it was interesting because March Madness came out in 2015. So, like, I guess that was a streaming. I guess that's streaming. That feels like maybe the very beginning. But I'm surprised maybe that this was 5th.
I'm surprised it wasn't higher.
Really?
Yeah. Now March Madness is
no, it's a huge record. I mean, it's a huge record. It was on 56 nights. Like, it's a huge record. Like, I love it. Okay, Josh. It's a huge record. 4. This was a song that maybe could have been top 3 too, but I get it. It's 4th. Lil Uzi Vert, XO Tour Life. This song was playing everywhere. Makes a ton of sense. It's got to be Lil Uzi's biggest record. I don't really care if you die.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, now we get into the top 3. 3 is Drake, God's Plan. This song was huge as fuck too. I mean, I put it this way: this is bigger than all right, but I digress.
No, it's not. It's not. I'll tell you why later.
Okay, 2 is Cardi B's Bodak Yellow, big record.
Absolutely.
Her debut single. Didn't have any issue with this. Maybe at 2, but in terms of being in the top 5, I was more than okay with this. And then, of course, number 1 is Kendrick Lamar, All Right.
All right.
Love this track. It's the most commercially successful song on To Pimp a Butterfly. Was it the number 1 streaming song that came out? Get the fuck out of here, bro. The fuck out of here.
So let me talk to you about why All Right is such a huge hit. Not only was it commercially successful, just the song itself, but it dropped in the wake of so much turmoil in the Black community. And it was pre-George Floyd, but it was around the time that people were really focusing on the issues in our community. Okay. And it was a song that gave people hope. And I remember being at a festival in Orange County when I was living in San Diego. And he performed that shit. And
so you know, from a personal experience at a concert. Why you're justifying it at once?
Yes, because I saw how it moved the crowd, and you're looking at these privileged white kids whose parents and grandparents are the people that Kendrick Lamar is talking about.
Okay,
but that song was so intoxicating that it's touching their soul, and they sitting there. We gonna be all right. Yeah, little white girl, you all right now.
You're all right. You're okay.
You're all right.
You're great, actually.
You're great, but the way that they could actually feel that song, the emotion, the passion behind it, then you really got niggas in the crowd who like, hey, bro, we might actually be all right, dog. Like we might like.
Are you trying to tell me that this uplifted niggas that thought that shit was bad from history?
Go, Mike Conley. It gave people a sense of comfort, and that emotional
Number one.
Yes, I've heard that song in the United States, out of the United States, on the West Coast, in the South. Bro, I've heard that song in so many different places, bro. It hits people crazy.
I like the song. I'm with you. Look, Pharrell did the beat. We got the most pop, the biggest, him and Kanye, biggest hip hop and pop beat makers of the 2000s. 2000 on up. There's 1 and 2. 1A, 1B, however you want to put it. I can't sit here and say that that's the biggest record to come out in the streaming era, man.
Then tell me one bigger.
I was going to say Old Town Road was a bigger record than All Right. Like,
I don't think
it's a bigger record. Like, it is.
I don't think it's lived as long as All Right.
What do you mean? Nigga, Whip Nene, they were playing that shit at the field day today. I mean, this is what I'm saying. And it's not about just kids.
I mean, I just know
it's just not the biggest record. Did All Right go number? Let me see what All Right did.
I already know that OVO sent you the notes before the show, and you have the anti-Kendrick agenda going here. It's okay.
I have an anti. I like Kendrick Lamar. Like this was the same thing when Drake and Kanye were going at it, and like when I've talked about it, like I am a bigger Kanye fan than Drake. And like people are like, "Oh, you're being biased towards Kanye." It's like, no, I'm not. Like these are just the facts of the music.
I just know you're on payroll with OVO.
All right. Well, let's see. Hold on 1 second. Let me go.
Hey, Joshua Osteen has spoken.
All right. This was all right's peak position on the Billboard 100. Okay. Well, Josh Holsey's not in circles where people listen to Old Town Road in 2024. I don't listen to All Right for what it's worth. I mean, if we're gonna keep it 100, but like, it's not that I won't listen to it though. Like, I won't not listen to Old Town Road either, but this isn't about just listening to the song. It's about what records were bigger. Like that record wasn't bigger. I was going to say the Weeknd's got records out that are bigger than.
That's not hip hop. That ain't hip hop.
You're right, and this was a hip hop list. That's 100% true. But my point is that there are bigger records than this. Like there are bigger records than this.
Well, name them for me, please. I haven't heard one yet.
Lee. I could sit up.
I just haven't heard one yet.
Tracks were better. Like I'm just gonna name songs that I think are better, but that doesn't mean. I'm just saying there's no way that anyone actually really thinks that that's the biggest song of the.
If you say Bodak Yellow, you own to something. That's a diamond single.
I think that's a bigger record.
Okay. What else?
There are many songs, but it's many songs, man, that I can.
What are the many?
You just want me to name them, but
yeah, I do. You said you got many. I want to hear them.
I think God's Plan was a bigger record. Like, I think that Bad and Bougie. I just said, like, I already said Bad and Bougie. Like, I think Bad and Bougie is a bigger record than All Right. I think Sicko.
Josh Holsey already told you they left Takeoff off the song, so it can't be top three.
Well, Josh Holsey's word isn't law. I mean, but I think that's a bigger record.
Which one had the most streams?
I think Zapped Off is a bigger record. I think The Box was a bigger record than All Right. Like, that's another fellow West Coast nigga, bro. That was a bigger record. Father Stretch My Hands, bigger record. Nigga, I think Humble was a bigger record for Kendrick than All Right. Like, it was a bigger record. No Flocking, bigger record. Like, in the streaming era, they're bigger records. Trap Queen, bigger record. Like, that's a bigger record.
Question. What number was Trap Queen?
21.
That's wrong.
Bigger record.
That's wrong.
Bigger record, man.
No, that's wrong. Now,
Black
Trap
Beatles was a bigger record than All Right.
Which one? I didn't hear that last one.
Black Beatles, Ray Shrimp. It was a bigger record. It's not because there was a trend of people fucking standing still. Like, these were just bigger records. They're bigger records.
I think that the tie
to me, bigger record.
I think the tie to the movement, and I mean, you had to pull up the list. You couldn't name off the top of your head. But
because you're asking me to just randomly name songs, and it's like I can name them. I can name basically any song that came out in the last 9 years.
And I'll tell you,
just name, but I have to not be biased either. So I can't just biasly name out songs I think are better.
And I'll tell you, maybe I'm biased because I was in California and I was in SoCal when that shit was jumping, and I saw what that record did. I saw what it did at that festival. And I'm like, oh, bro, no, this song is different. This just ain't music you putting in your ears. This is something a little bit different. And I think that because you can tie it to a movement, and the song did resurface with the George Floyd stuff, that's why it gets to be number one. Because it's a song of a movement. And I don't know if any of those songs you can tie to a movement more so than that one. I don't think those songs had a bigger.
Peaked at 81 on Billboard, and look, it's not always about Billboard because everybody's like, well, Billboard and the Grammys don't matter.
Oh, yeah, I don't give a fuck about Billboard or the Grammys.
But like, when it does come to this list, is subjective. It's subjective to somebody that's saying, I like this record more.
I mean,
like, it was subjectively a much more. It's not. They're not taking it from the objective standpoint of let's combine everything in it. The movement wasn't that fucking big.
Can you untuck your OVO chain, please? Can we see the owl?
Nowhere to be found.
All right, we're going in circles here. Let's get to the last topic. Let's talk about Diddy. just to keep it frank, Diddy beat the shit out of Cassie in a hotel. I mean, she didn't have shoes on. She was trying to escape while she thought
That
he
nigga was in a towel.
I kind of already believe the stuff about Diddy,
Why
and
did he look like he was walking out of a sauna though to do it? That nigga had the towel tucked.
cause they had just got done fucking, and she thought that he had took the fuck nap. So she like, shit, I'm gonna
get out of here, huh?
I'm gonna take a shower and get up out of here because this nigga sleep. And then soon as he heard that door, that them hotel doors, they heavy as hell. Soon as he heard that door close. Oh, that nigga, he grabbed that first thing he could see. Oh, towel. Fuck a bathrobe. Towel. Cause it's a bathrobe in Diddy's hotel room.
Yeah, and right. That nigga was wearing a towel. I think that's just what shocks me more than anything. That nigga was wearing a towel, man.
That just speaks to him making sure she don't get to that elevator. Cause he might have to look for that bath towel, grab it out the closet. Cause he probably had a walk-in closet in his room. I'm not used to that. That's not how I live.
I'm curious as to where they were. They said New York. It was in New York.
LA, the Continental in LA.
Really?
Yeah.
Downtown LA?
Oh no, let's
I'm assuming so. No, all right. We've stayed there at that hotel before, but that's why I'm like, wow.
It's not open anymore.
This was a long time ago. This is what I'm
saying.
saying.
I'm saying the one that they were in isn't open.
Like an Intercontinental?
Nigga, I'm just saying it said the Continental. Nigga, I don't know.
All right, go ahead. Go.
I'm poor. I can't afford that shit.
That's not a hard. Continue.
So yeah,
he was this common man shit.
I'm a blue collar guy.
You and me both.
I sweat every day at work.
Me too. Shit. Sometimes I gotta figure out, man, am I gonna be able to get a meal off of this?
But no, so he beat her ass, dog. Throwing punches, stomping her, throwing vases at her, running around. And for me, seeing that happen in a public setting, I just go, Jesus Christ, what was this nigga doing when they were at home alone?
Beating the stuffings out of her.
And I think the nastiest part of it was he signed her to a 10-album deal.
Yeah.
So he's not only her boyfriend, who's like 18 years older than she is, but also her boss. And when people talk about, well, she should have just left. It's hard to just leave when this nigga owns your music career.
Well, he determines where you eat.
Yeah. And I talked about this on the solo pod that I was telling some guys at work that when you're messing with a girl, you want to give at least 2 reasons for her to be with you, right? And I said this could be toxic, manipulative, but I'm like, you want to give her 2 reasons, right? You don't want the only reason to just be good, like good dick, right? She can find dick somewhere else.
Yeah.
But when one thing fails, you want to have something else as a backup to where, she'll stay with you. And again, saying it out loud, I go, oh, that's pretty manipulative. But I'm like, if you got good intentions and you're doing things right, that's not a bad thing. Then you look at Diddy, he goes, oh, I'm her boss. I control her music, which is probably her passion. And she can't, I have to sign off on her signing somewhere else. Like, she can't put out music if I don't say yes.
Right.
And she's my girl. So for whatever reason, she wants to be my girl, whether it's lifestyle, whether it's the sex, all of that stuff. And don't get me wrong, I think Cassie was okay with some of the weird stuff that they did.
Well, she had to be.
But I also think that
there's no way it didn't start off that way. And when I say it didn't start off that way, I don't mean the first 2 times they hung out. I mean, she knew within a couple months that, oh, okay, like this is what it's like.
Yeah. Shit. I think don't get me wrong, and this is not placing blame on her because
she's the victim. Yeah,
she's the victim. Like she got her ass beat by a nigga in a towel. Imagine if he had on some drawers and he didn't need to hold that towel up with his other hand. And the hotel, fuck him. Like y'all took the alleged $50K buyout for this. Like, bro, that shit's whack. Like it's just bullshit behavior. And don't get me wrong, I still think Diddy has done a great job of making music. And if he makes bops, I will listen to them.
Right.
But it reminds me of the Charles Barkley quote where he says, "I'm not a role model." And I think too often, black people, we look up to successful celebrities as role models, and these people aren't role models. We don't know them as people.
Correct.
All we know is their career, and then we take their career and want to wrap that into the person and want to be like that person. It's like, dog, you don't know him. How do you have a role model that's not a mentor?
Correct. It's ass backwards from that perspective of, you know, the way that everybody wants to look at this stuff.
So whatever happens to Diddy, I hope it's bad. I think it's funny that 50 is making a documentary out of it, but I also think that's petty and trash too. Like,
who, Fofty? You know, that's like his nick. It's like Fofty.
I didn't know that.
They call that nigga Fofty. That's
cat behavior. I just think I just think the whole thing is just weird, man. Like, I just don't like people capitalizing off of the trauma and negative events that happen to somebody else. Like, that is just nasty work to make money off of somebody else's misfortune.
Right.
Especially, like, you think 50's giving Cassie a kickback?
No. I mean, well, who knows? He might be just on the back end so it can come out in the media that he's doing it. I'm not saying he's doing it for media purposes. No. But he could be doing it just to be pettier.
And I think I think the story needs to be told. But when it's 50 telling the story, and not because 50's black, it's because 50 is doing it out of spite to Diddy.
Yeah.
I just hope he handles it with a level of sensitivity that Cassie deserves, because at the end of the day,
it's her life, and this actually happened. Yeah.
And this is not like a funny joke because I don't like this nigga. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, he legitimately was treating me like shit.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with it. Fuck Diddy. It's fuck him. That apology was
fuck the diddler, huh?
Yeah, the apology was bullshit. Like, fuck, like, I get you can't say her name because of NDAs and stuff like that.
What about all the no Diddy stuff?
Nigga, I'm 32. I'm not saying that shit.
Yeah, as you shouldn't.
I don't even say, bro. I don't even say no,
from the get-go.
I don't even say no homo.
No Diddy.
I'll say pause.
Hey, think about a nigga saying no Diddy.
Bro, that sound, nigga, that sound like cat at the podium.
The diddler.
Yeah, Diddy's not that important in my life. Just my biggest thing is, stop looking up to these niggas, man. You don't want to be like them. You just want their job. Separate the man.
They can't, Lee. It's too much.
Look, Parlay Pete, I know you got a heart out. Pause. Ooh, wow. Pause. Jesus. Get your mans. Shout out to Cameron for holding it down on CNN.
Oh, yeah, because we do need to at least get that before I get out of here. That shit's actually funny as fuck, but it's funny and Twitter is funny. I've been off Twitter for so long, and then I forget that was the reason why I even fucked with Twitter back in the day. There's a lot of stuff that gets pointed out, and it is like that is more of a news source than anything, but it's like opinions too. But like when you really look at it, it's like Cameron literally has done this in multiple interviews. He's done it in multiple fucking interviews. Like, everybody knows that when that nigga gets on like one of those platforms, how he responds. And he wasn't lying either about what he said. It wasn't like he was like just being a nigga. He was being a nigga because, like we talked about earlier, when it comes to Anthony Edwards and all these other people, yeah, he's like acts like he's not polished or something, like he hadn't dealt with media. But like, he wasn't really being a nigga. He actually told the truth. He's like, what the fuck are you asking me about Diddy for? He's like, that's Mace worked for him, not me.
Yeah, I don't.
Which is true. He wasn't lying about what he said at all. And then he shamelessly plugged his sex enhancement shit and his podcast, all within that brief sprint, like 3.5 minutes.
He was there to promote his show.
Exactly.
And then y'all are asking him about a grown-ass man who, whether he was around this dude, he gains nothing from speaking on it.
Well, New York.
And contractually, he wasn't signed to Bad Boy, so he may not have been around Diddy and those things. And I think that some of the people who are around Diddy are catching entirely too much flack because Parlay Pete, you don't know what I do in the bedroom.
Right.
I don't know what you do in the bedroom. Right. I can speak to your character as the person I hang around, but at the end of the day, you can do some wild shit and you can keep it hidden, or I can do some wild shit and keep it hidden and nobody fucking knows except for the two people in that room. Now, it looks like Diddy was probably a bit more flagrant with his, but maybe not. Maybe everybody didn't see that shit.
Well, if there's one thing to say about him is that he is exactly who he is in a sense of, I'm not going to say flashy, but he's always been kind of a flashy dude, right? Like, would that be fair to say that that's why Suge Knight gets up there and says he's dancing on the video? Like, that's his persona. His persona is just that. So, like, it wouldn't surprise me at all that if he does this stuff, he's the biggest. His persona has always been big time mogul. Take that. Bad boy. Like he invented that in a weird way. Nobody really in rap or music, maybe there's been characters in music, of course, and I'm sure even in rap before him that there were. It wasn't rap that I listened to, but like he is the quintessential Ric Flair of fucking rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that is him. Like that is his persona. Ric Flair of rap. So it's kind of like Ric Flair walks out in these fucking golden robes. When he does interviews, he's got $500 sunglasses and $30,000 Rolexes on. He's dancing. He's doing all this. Like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just hip hop or rap or whatever. Like, it's the same thing. So I think you could look at it how you want, but like, I do think that he probably carried himself like that all the time. He did it in a fucking movie. Get Him to the Greek. Somebody brought that up on Twitter. This is why I love Twitter again. Yeah. They brought that up. I already knew that I was like, I had said it, but somebody even broke it down deeper on a certain scene, and it was him chasing the niggas in the hotel room and so or out in the hotel hallway trying to get them. And then the same thing happens in that footage. So it makes a ton of sense. It doesn't surprise me one bit. And if he did it, get him. If he didn't do it, free him. I mean, obviously he hit her ass. Like, we know that. But like, I'm talking about all the other stuff. Yeah, exactly, man. Let the legal process do what it does. I don't know if he's a Fed. I don't really care if he's a Fed. I just know that he's displayed himself to be a pretty despicable human being. Ye was fed. Huh? Ye said he was fed. He been said that, yeah. And Candace Owens said it too. But we have prisons for a reason. And if the alleged behavior about him is true, he should go sit in one, even if it's a plush. And he will. Even if it's a plush prison, he needs to be isolated from society, man. But hey, Parlay Pete, this was fun. As always. Great show. Yeah, I know we got another one next week. Yeah. And we should be maybe halfway through these series? Yeah. Yeah, we'll be at a good spot to just really lean into basketball unless something crazy happens football. Yeah, football's I guess they're doing OTAs. No, voluntary OTAs. I don't know. It's time for actual OTAs. Let's talk about getting Creole Court on here. This is the time of the year for that. Oh, you want me to reach out to? I mean, how do you want to do it? Yeah, you're the better resource to do that. Okay. Let's set it up. All right, dog. All right, brother. I'll catch you until next time. Salutations. Sounds good. Hey, have a good one, Hoos. Peace. Yep. All right, bro.